Hello. Can you see me, Wooly? I'm using a new camera, which is ironically enough my old camera. I cannot hear Wooly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Okay. Great. Hey, Wooly. How are you doing?
I'm good. Here we are. We're live. We're good.
We're live now. I would
Yes.
like to say hi to my mom and dad. Hey, mom and dad. I told them to watch the podcast today because I am now a dad and the baby is out and here.
Hey. Yeah. What's up, mom and dad? What's up, baby?
Oh, little
Yo.
baby is here. A little early, but he is here.
And then there
So
were three.
there are three now. So before I get into anything, you might be asking, Pat, why are you here on the podcast when baby is like brand new? There are a few reasons for this. First of all, Wooly, I want to really thank you. Wooly called me this morning. I texted him, hey, we're all good to go for the podcast today. And Wooly called me to basically be like, are you sure, dude? Are you absolutely sure we can move it? And I said, no, I'm sure. And then I gave the phone to my wife, and then they talked for a little while. Paige has basically, let's say, heavily insisted that I be here today. She did not want to have the podcast be moved. She is doing very well. Baby is doing very well. She is being taken care of by a team of nurses. She has that little button that she hit if she
Hmm.
need anything. I just came from the hospital. I will then immediately be going back to the hospital. So maybe let's not go for 5 hours today.
Okay. But
Maybe just cut it a little.
but first things first, we gotta talk about video games.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Video games are still important. They're just
What the
slightly
shit?
less important.
Who fucking cares about the docket this like, okay.
I tell her this, and she's like, "No, the podcast is important.
I'm like
You
sitting
must go do it."
I'm sitting here like, hey, I watched Barbie. So anyway,
How was Barbie?
yeah, that was fun. Ryan Gosling was
What are you, a
fun.
Barbie girl?
I sure was. And I'm also Kenough. Anyways,
Okay, so
well,
all right,
yeah.
it
The
is
fuck are we
time for the
doing?
story. It's time for the story of the new pact. Okay, so I have some advice for people. Anybody who is gonna have a baby, is having a baby, or thinking about a baby, I have some advice for you right now. First of all, get the car seat earlier than you think you need it.
Hmm.
Okay? So
Okay.
here's the sequence of events. All right? Here's the story, obviously with clarification and clear from my wife, who this is our story, but she did all the hard stuff, right? So, Tuesday, or no, it wasn't Tuesday. Regardless, we go and we get the car seat. We're like, fuck yeah, we got the car seat. Yes, good. We can put a baby in a car seat. Couple days later, we go renew the lady's passport. Her passport needs to be renewed. Like it's one of those things you just got to do, right? We go renew.
How
We
much sleep
do
are you
the
running on
appointment.
right now?
Pretty good actually.
Okay.
I'll explain that.
All right.
So renew the passport, okay? And then a few days later, we're like, we're gonna go to that final ultrasound, right? The ultrasound that will inform all the plans, right? Bring your hospital bag. That's the bag that has the must-haves to your final ultrasound because there's the strong possibility that when you get to the final ultrasound, the tech looks inside and it's like, oh, huh. And then goes, hold on a second. I'm going to leave the room for 25 minutes. And then comes back and goes, huh, well, I'm not allowed to give you any medical advice, but you should go to the hospital for an extra test. No worries. You should just go now. So
Mm-hmm.
we get to the hospital and we're walking up to a labor and delivery perinatal, and um, we're a little concerned. And Paige decides that she's had enough, and halfway up to the door, she turns around and starts to run away. She sees like the lettering on labor and delivery of part of the building, and she goes nope, and she takes her cane and she does a 180 and she starts going as
Not,
fast as she
yeah,
can.
Half-Life, absolutely. Just nope, not doing it. Nuh-uh. Gotta leave.
I had to
I'm out.
I had to block her and be like, no honey,
Oh, that's so
no,
pure. It's such a raw, just like the brain says, get out of here.
right?
Just
and
leave.
so and so I get a hold of her. I'm like, no, we have to go see the doctor. I'm sure everything's fine, right? We go in, we
Oh.
see the doctor. Everything is fine. Everything's totally within the bounds of normalcy. And they start talking about, like, induction or whatever. And Paige is like, oh, I was really hoping to have an August baby. And the doctor gives a big smile and says, actually, I was thinking more of a July baby, like today, like a today baby.
How does that sound? Yeah, yeah.
Um, um, so then we're like, okay. And they wheeled us to our private room, which was really nice. We have a button to call a nurse whenever we need one, which we have used a lot, and they've come and taken care of my wife or helped her with something. They gave me a bed, not a chair. I got a bed to sleep on, and it is a not shared room. And then we go through the process of talking about how are we gonna do? How do you want to do this? Right? Do we want to do it the old-fashioned way? Do we want to do what's known as taking the baby out through the sunroof, which is a cesarean section?
Right,
And
right.
we're going through the process, and it was a really like like this type of discussion is not super fun. It's not exactly terrifying, but it's very serious. And we were very, very lucky because we had nurses that were with us most of the time. We had the surgeon come down. We had a pediatric doctor come down. We had a GP come in and sit with us and talk with us for hours about risks, about safety, about medical trauma, and we ended up going with the decision because, like, you've heard Paige tell stories. Everyone watching this stream has heard Paige tell stories. Paige has gone through a lot of experiences in hospitals.
Hmm.
Her chart is really big and really long. It includes a lot of health conditions. And they were looking at that and going, but there were also parts of the examination and parts of the process that were terrifying, and they didn't want to have a situation where her birth experience was a scary or a rushed one. They
Right.
wanted it to be, I think the phrasing the head surgeon used was like, I want you to have a birth experience that you can look back on and be
Yeah.
happy about, and not and she said that there's a doctor on staff who told him that every year on his birthday, his mom bawls her eyes out because just
Mm.
the date just makes her so upset because it was so upsetting. So we decided that we scheduled ourselves in. We spoke to the surgeons and the doctors and the anesthesiologist and everybody involved. were gonna be a scheduled thing. Put me in scrubs. They gave my wife the epidural. We rolled in. Bim bam boom. 20 minutes. He is out. He is perfect. He is 6 pounds 9 ounces. He is a normal size and weight.
Okay.
Even though he's early, he's still like 50th percentile on the dot, which means I might have a regular human in my house for the first time in my life. And they told me this afterwards, but the anesthesiologist told Paige as she was being rolled in, which is that we made the right decision because right as we were being rolled in, baby showed the first signs of going, I do not like labor. I do like my I don't know what stat it was, but some part of the monitoring said I'm probably not going to really like labor, so the C-section was going to happen. The difference is whether or not we slotted it into the surgery schedule and went down, or we did it,
Had to,
at some
emergency.
late ass
Yeah.
time of night. He is perfect. He is the cutest baby in the maternity ward. As little tiny Pat Jr. was being lifted out, first of all, I'll tell that part later. All the nurses and doctors started cooing because he's so cute. And we go, oh, you say that about all the babies. And they go, no, we don't. No, we don't. Like, really blunt. Like, no.
Got a couple
No,
of
you
speakers.
have a very, very cute baby. C-sections. So I've
That
never
fucker
had
looks like you,
major,
man.
yeah. So I sent Wooly some photos. Going into a C-section is it's a big thing. There are like 20 people in the operating room for a C-section, and they sit me right next to Paige's head, and so they go in first, and then they get me all my scrubs, and then I wash up and I go in, so I'm mostly sterile, and I go in, and the first thing I see is that you're spread out like Jesus. And Paige's hands were shaking like she was terrified. I'm like, oh no, oh no. And I go up to my wife and she goes, hey, how you doing? And it's like, the shakes are from the anesthesia. The shake, you shake as part of the anesthetic they give you.
Okay.
So she was actually totally chill. She was so chill that she discovered she could watch the operation in the ceiling tile.
Wow.
So like they have like a like a curtain up to block you from watching you root around in your fucking guts. And Paige was like watching the baby get pulled out on the ceiling tiles ahead of her because it was really shiny. I got up and took a look at the big moment and did not faint, did not fall down, or even blanch. But let me tell you, that is for real. Digging around in people. That is graphic.
Yes.
That is very, very for real.
We are told what that's gonna be, but that is in fact,
like, right? And you've seen things and you've watched things, and then you look at it and you're like, wow, there's right out.
Damn.
Everybody has been extremely supportive. We've had nurses 24/7 coming in, helping Paige with breastfeeding and teaching me how to change the little guy and how to swaddle him, and everything is going great. Baby is perfect. His hearing is good. His blood is good. His size is good. His weight is good. His skin is good. His eyes are good. 10 fingers, 10 toes. There's only one thing, and it's a minor frustration to Paige. We have looked at baby pictures of me. I sent the baby pictures to you. I sent them to my mom. They are indistinguishable. They are like
Like
that
there
is a clone.
there's
That is
times
a
when you say something polite just to be like, "Oh yeah, there's your nose," or something, you know, kind of off, just to be nice or so. That fucker is that it's there. It's just there.
it's so Paige had this moment of like, I spent 9 months cooking this baby for us, and now she just has another me around the house. Um, it is
Uh,
so on the nose. He has the hair, he has the eyes, he has the nose, he even has the lips that I had as a baby.
so the insides are gonna be all Page. That's you're gonna start to.
That would be like the coolest version, right? That would be like the coolest double. Is like just what would happen if you just did your character creator and just moved the brain into it.
Baby chugs mustard and can carry a note.
Right. Yeah. Um and like so I've been having a lot of big feelings.
You don't say.
I'm having big feelings, but the weirdest part is that the feelings aren't as big as I expected. I expected, you know me, Will. I'm a jittery, anxious guy. I expected to be overcome with terror at holding the baby and don't drop him, right? So the nurses have been extremely helpful. First of all, if you want to have your fucking preconceptions wrecked, watch a 55-year-old maternity nurse handle a 5-minute old baby, because they are just fucking
Yeah,
flipping them
working
around
the
and
tools.
grabbing them by their jaw and just rotating their shit, and it's
Hardware.
wow.
Yeah. So thing is,
They are so ready to manhandle these little guys.
all I can say about feelings are this. Like, to be fair, this conversation should be happening like maybe a week or two from. You are literally in it right now. You are in the middle of it still, and it's not all. It's still liquid. It is not yet.
No.
You know,
The good emotions are all there. The bad emotions are all way less than I expected.
I see.
The terror
fear.
and the worry
Okay.
and the so like, because I've never changed a diaper. I've never held a newborn ever.
How about that smell?
I was the kid who, when people would come around and they had the baby, and like, don't you want to hold the baby? I'd be like, no, I can't hold the baby. I'll drop the baby. Right?
Yeah.
But nah,
Okay.
he's pretty good. He's super strong. He's way stronger than I thought he would be. And he's just a little guy. Like he's just a little guy. Once we got rid, so if people don't know, there's a poop that the baby takes for the first day called meconium. That poop is for real. That is the hardest poop. That is like tar.
The sludge.
That is sticky. It is sludge. Doesn't smell.
Yeah.
Doesn't smell at all.
It's all based on umbilical.
But right, that one was hard to clean. All future poops since that he recently switched over from meconium to kind of baby poops. Yeah, that's not that hard.
Okay.
I made the mistake of packing his diaper wrong and got a nice face full of piss on the first diaper change.
There you go.
And I was like,
From the heart.
just piss. It's just baby pee. It's not the end of the world. It's fine. Paige has been in recovery, and so whenever she's not able or she's too tired, I've been feeding the guy, I've been rocking him, I've been hanging out with him. He has tried to nurse from me.
Okay.
Which is
Good.
wrong. Good instincts.
Yep.
Good instincts. Bad eyesight.
Don't let the latch happen. Don't let it happen.
It did not.
Okay.
So I've given him a bottle and I felt him latch onto the bottle, and I'm like, I'm glad that's not my tit.
Yeah,
Because like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the a baby's latch is so much stronger than I would have expected.
Mm-hmm.
It's so it's
But
so intense. Like he like I have the bottle and he goes "Ugh," and like the bottle like yanks down out of my grip.
and it's a good
And
sign because
it's
like some babies just don't like latching or don't latch strongly, you know. So that
oh,
is absolutely what you want.
some babies are jerks.
Yeah. Well, how's
My
the temperament?
baby. So here's the okay. So I need wood. Okay, I'm knocking on wood. As for right now, the temperament of baby Patton Page is shockingly chill. He only cries when he is hungry, and then you feed him, and then he's done, and then he sleeps for 3 hours straight.
Okay.
He only wakes up if he shits himself.
Okay.
Um, Us and the nurses are having full volume conversations. I started to take apart the car seat in the room. We eat dinner. Baby doesn't care. Baby want food, then he wants sleep, and then he poops sometimes.
Yeah.
I was not a good baby. I was a terrible baby.
Mm-hmm.
I was a good child. I was a good like toddler. I was a miserable baby. This baby is chill. He's very cool.
Nice. Okay.
Obviously, I know that that might change. I see
Yes.
people in the chat saying,
For now.
"Whoa, get
Mm-hmm.
ready."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But even for, brand new little guys, he's very relaxed compared to the other babies on the ward. So, like, hopefully,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we're on the calmer side of things.
Just yeah, and that's awesome when it's like okay, you if something is wrong, you know for certain what's up, you know, as opposed to
Yeah.
like reading like
So,
which
like,
version of a cry you're getting and things like that.
the lady came in to do his foot pokes, right? They gotta poke his foot to get a little bit of blood to run like the battery of tests to make sure he doesn't have some rare genetic disorder. And
Mm-hmm.
so they gotta pinprick the baby's foot to get some blood on their little cardboard. Oh, hey wife, mama's in the
Hey,
chat right now. Hello Peach mom.
put the phone
Um
down. Get out of here. Rest.
um and he didn't cry.
Okay.
Like when like the lady is like poking his foot with the needle to get blood out, and he fussed. He didn't like it, and he kicked her. But he didn't freak out. He didn't cry. He was very chill, and he went right back to sleep as soon as I got his little band-aid on his foot.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. No man, it honestly sounds like, you know, you guys had like just a real awesome team, you know, that was like
Oh, we are
fucking
so lucky,
there for
dude.
every angle of that covered.
Like
Amazing.
every time, so every day there's like a new nurse that does like a 12-hour, right? So like 7:30 to 7:30 or something like that, right? And so we see two nurses a day, and every single day we have been at that hospital, we go, oh my god, this is the best nurse. She's the best one. She is so helpful. She's like either like an older lady with a bunch of kids or like a young nurse right out of nursing school, and they're also chill and calm and kind and supportive. And then we get the next one, and we're like, this is the best nurse. This is the best one.
Nice.
This is what my favorite of the nurse. One of the things that really stood out, like astonishingly, like I knew it was like this, but I didn't know it was like this so much. Me and that baby are the only men we have seen for days.
Okay. Yeah.
There,
Okay.
there was what I saw a dad. I spoke to a dad at the ice machine, and that is it.
Okay.
That is it.
Well,
That labor and delivery. That is by ladies for ladies. So they all know what's going on. Almost every single one of them already has kids. So when they're talking to somebody in labor or pre C-section or post C-section, they are all like not just like doctor or nurse informed, but like personally informed,
Hmm.
right? It has been
Yeah.
a really, really like wonderful experience. Earlier than we thought, like like much. We're supposed to have a doctor's appointment in a couple days for a checkup and talk about when we're gonna have the baby that we scheduled months ago. That is now a baby checkup instead.
Hmm.
Um,
Man, yeah. Okay. So again, like I'm sure there's just there's probably unsettled adrenaline somewhere. I don't know, like I'm almost just I'm like when you're in the room, do they just kind of be like, okay, you stand here and you do these things, and then literally don't like and nothing, like follow these
yes, that is
instructions?
exactly what
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
They say, "Dad." Some of them didn't bother to learn my name, and that's fine.
Right.
Right? They go,
Roll.
Dad, hold this. Dad, grab baby.
Good.
Dad, put this on. Dad, move. Dad, here. And that is my purpose: is to
Yes.
sit here and be emotional
Don't
support,
fuck this up. Yeah.
or change the baby right now while they're doing something over here, running a test, or whatever. Um, that's
There
that's
you
my
go.
purpose here. Um,
Did you crack?
uh,
Did you crack any gags? Try any bits? Did you sing any off?
So me and Paige are hanging out in a room for hours and hours and hours and talking to new people. So we're constantly doing our fucking shtick. Though there is one nurse we ran into where I made some goof, and she's like, "Yeah, dads get like this as soon as the baby's out. They feel like they have to start telling us what we have to do." And I'm like, "No, no, no, that's not what I mean." And she's just like had this like look of like, "Uh-huh, dad, whatever." She did not like me very much.
Oh,
She
yeah.
was chilled. She was great with the wife, and that's all that
Hmm.
matters. But she was really like kind of eye rolling at the boys kind of situation. And I was like, that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, it's not your show. Just
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
the furthest thing from your show. You know. Yeah, that's it. Damn.
It's
Okay.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
just have a little me hanging out.
Yeah.
Um um it's there's something Paige's mom said to us a while ago that like I have to give her like credit for, because she was actually like really right, because we put a lot of thought and a lot of planning and a lot of care and a lot of worry into everything about preparing for baby, right? And Paige's mom said it's just a baby. It's not that big of a deal. It's just a little person. And now we have the baby, and it's like, yeah, it's just a little guy. It's just kind of it's just like a little man, like a little old
Yeah.
man that I take care of.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I kind of I get that. It is like a bit wild in advance, but there's a bit of like, okay, like as long as you get here fine? Did you know what I mean? Did
Yeah,
you get lost on the way? Did we have to take a switch to another bus? How'd you get here? Was the transfers
because
okay? And then once you're here,
yeah,
yeah, all right, you're here. What's up?
because like I don't know about you, but like when I was a kid, all the adults in my life were like, having a child is the most astonishing, transformative experience you will ever have. It will change every part of your life forever. Nothing will be the same. It is the most important, that fucking
Mm-hmm.
speech. I'm sure you
Mm-hmm.
got it at
Yes,
some
for
point,
sure, for
right?
sure, for sure.
Um, and that's true. I can already feel that that's true right
Mm-hmm.
now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a weird response where hanging out with baby, taking care of baby, hanging out with Paige, helping take care of Paige, I'm like weirdly chill.
Mm-hmm.
This it's not a situation I thought I would be chill,
Mm-hmm.
right? Leaving them at the hospital to come here and do laundry or get things or do this podcast, I am not chill. I want to go back there
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. So
Like literally just having them out of my line of sight, I'm like,
yes, we will complete our minor obligations and get the fuck out of here.
right?
After
Uh,
fully report in here.
um, which is like kind of the opposite of what I expected. I expected to be like a massive nervous wreck taking care of baby, and then when I would leave the vicinity of baby and it's no longer my direct responsibility because I'm not in the room, I would go, whoo, responsibility gone. No, now it's the opposite. Responsibility on the shoulders, it feels great. Responsibility off the shoulders feels like shit.
There's an arrow now permanently pointing in your periphery towards the direction of baby at all
That way.
times. It's always
That
over
way.
there. You're like, you turn around. Yeah, nope. It's gotta. There's an objective right over there. Yeah, absolutely.
And again, I have to tell everybody, Paige has been a trooper. She's been extremely resilient. She has been weirdly pushy about not delaying today's show. She wanted to make sure that everything went well. As a result, she didn't wake me up last night to help with feedings or poop or anything. She
So
got the nurses.
you got your sleep in
Um,
then.
which I have never slept harder in my entire life. I'm a pretty light sleeper overall. There were like five people in our room last night, like doing tests and talking and helping Paige with like the breastfeeding stuff and baby tips. And I didn't wake up for shit.
Yeah. No. I
Nothing.
like. Well, I mean, like you said, mom confirmed. Fucking go do it. So, all right, it's done. But in terms of just, I guess the feelings and like how that chillness kind of hits, I suspect a lot of that will have to do with as well the fact that you're right on time, right? If this exact moment were, let's say, exactly 10 years ago, there would be a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
more nervousness and
I
unpreparedness and
Wooly, do
you know
you remember you from 10 years ago?
yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine you from 10 years ago being handed an infant? You'd freak the
That's it. That's it, right? So like that's the thing is like it's happening right on time when you're like ready to catch it. You got the mitt out and you got the glove and you're ready to go, versus like some of those stories that you get from your parents or from your aunts and uncles who are just like it's going to be the craziest shit ever and your whole life is turning and all that. It's like, okay, are you reflecting on a memory of having your kid at 24? Because yeah, you're barely a person at 24 and now you've got another one. You don't know what life is yet. That's an insane whirlwind, that's going to change you.
Man, I was a lot dumber 10 years ago. Phew. I gotta say, I'm feeling kind of good about myself because I was talking to my. Hey, by the way, hi mom and dad. Hi mom and dad.
Hey.
I was talking to my mom and dad about this, and she was telling me how my dad handled me being born, and I'm not going to go into too many details because I don't want to embarrass the old guy, but I did a much more better job about handling that baby anxiety.
Okay.
It's definitely I definitely did more than read that. You got caught in reading newspapers upside down in the reception, like just like a
Staring at it
frozen
upside
man.
down. Wow. Not
Yeah,
even
just
there.
pretending to read something. And I was baby number 3 for him.
Right. Jeez. Yeah. No,
Oh.
it needed to it was best timed for the new brand change as opposed to the old one, right? The stares at era is the correct time for this. Not
I don't know. Like now that I'm a dad and I can lord over being a dad over all people with no children, and act like I'm better than other people. Haha. No, but like I am having an incredibly difficult time using my words to reconcile this is the most important thing that's ever happened, and he's just a little guy. Like I don't know how to explain that those are
yeah.
both
Yeah.
simultaneous
No,
truths.
I get it. No, I get it. I think I get it. It's a big, the energy's big, like, hey, what's up, man? There you are. How you been? Don't fuck it up. But what's up, man? Hey. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've been swaddling him and calling him my little burrito because he's a little baby burrito man. And he's been looking at me with his terrible eyesight and struggling to focus on me because his eyesight is terrible because he's a baby. Because babies can't see shit. They can see like shapes and shit. And just, he's just a little baby man who shits himself sometimes. I mean, I got a stupid dog that I got to wipe the dog's ass because he's fat and ugly. That's grosser than changing the baby.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
I'm not.
The consistency.
Picking up dog shit and wiping your gross dog's butt is significantly grosser than changing a baby.
So babies by design have a really nice onboarding system with getting used to changing their shit because it comes out less gross initially and then it becomes like big and human and smelly, but you have a training period where you can get used to the goop and it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it barely smells at all. It's not strong anyway. Later though.
And I guess there's that step of like, well, first of all, how about that smell?
Babies smell nice.
Okay. I know that
they smell cute.
I know that I know that your sense of smell is faded, but
it's pretty. My sense of smell is pretty blunted, but he's got that new baby smell.
It's strong,
and that new baby smell. Ooh, it's nice. It's good. Apparently, it's stronger if it's your new baby smell. Yes, significantly stronger.
You are getting all of the chemicals, like working on that.
Wooly, I have had a lot of chemicals happen in my brain over my lifetime. Right? Ooh, a kitten, and I don't know about you, but I can feel the flood when I pet like a kitten or something. Like I can feel the tingle. Right? New baby chemicals are off the fucking hook, man. Like Paige was like breastfeeding him and she had this giant grin and she was like, oh, I feel so sleepy and relaxed. And the lady that was helping us was like, oh yeah, no, the baby's giving you those good chemicals.
Yeah.
Right?
No, everything operating inside of you is like, you're fucking doing it. You're finally doing it. This is what
like it's so manipulative. Yeah. But you're like, yeah, I like these good chemicals. I like it. I see somebody in the chat say, don't huff babies. You absolutely huff your own baby. That is
get high on your
that
own
is
supply.
The realest thing. You pick up the little guy and you just go, you hug him, right? He's on your shoulder, and you're like, oh, it's a good baby smell. Oh, it's good.
Yeah. No, that's important. You want to make sure that hits properly. You don't want, otherwise, like that story would have been you 180ing to go the opposite direction. Like Paige runs one way and you run the other. So. Oh. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and I guess like
so I got a lot. I got a lot going on.
You had a big week.
I still streamed. Paige kept kicking me out of the hospital room. So I'm gonna talk about Double Dragon, goddammit!
I mean, like, we wrapped up our shit, and then like Punch Bomb was like, by the way, they're streaming, and I'm like, what? Yeah. So yeah, how was that? I streamed it too.
So double. So there's something about like I'm gonna pull the curtain behind, right? For the past 2 months, not 2 months, for the past like couple of weeks, I do sponsored streams for games. And part of the process lately has been, by the way, I have a baby on the way. It could happen anytime. How flexible are these dates? Right? And the answer to every time I've asked that is not really. They're not really flexible at all.
All right.
They're like, you could push it a day, and I'm like, that's not actually helpful at all.
New headcanon. Paige is kicking you out of the hospital room so that she'll have something to watch.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
So, Double Dragon Gaiden. By the way, this is a sponsored opinion.
Yes, it
Double
is.
Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragon,
Return.
with Bimmy and Jammy, is a pretty good beat 'em up game. It's very charming. It's very cool. It has lots of characters and graphics, and fantastic music.
Yeah.
Like incredible fucking music.
I went back in the second time using the bosses you could unlock with the tokens, and they all have different moves, and you can do bigger combos with different movesets. It's a lot of fun.
I grabbed a Bobo and Burnov as soon as I could unlock them, and was like, I will never not play as a Bobo.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he runs, he's got his arms up and he's got a Bobo smile. He's so happy.
A Bobo grateful. Yeah. And
I love a Bobo.
And
I love a Bobo.
They did a really cool thing where they made it so that like you pick the stages in order, but like the each stage you pick will change depending on whether it's first, second, third, or fourth in the lineup. So like whoever you save for last becomes a big battle to the top of a giant building or pyramid or whatever it is, and you have a way more epic version of the final boss there instead of the stage 1 version where they just pop out from the back office, you know?
I was doing it. I'm doing a run, and I got to I left the Yakuza with the girl boss as my final stage, and I was like, man, I'm doing great. I have so much money. I'm gonna be able to buy so much shit, and then that last run just evaporated every dollar I had.
Mm-hmm.
Like that last fight killed me more than the entire rest of the run combined.
There's also a really good moment where you kind of figure out like this is trying to be as classic as it can to the way the old games used to feel, while giving you the juggles and stuff from like River City Girls, but then the tagging mechanic lets you do all your swag. The moment you kind of figure out like, oh, you can constantly tag, make it cheaper so that you can tag more than once in the same bar, and switch back and forth. Like every time you make a mistake and get hit, tag someone out to pick it back up, keep a combo going. End with the air SPD, like lets you really do a bunch of fun stuff. And adding that in was a super solid, fun thing. And that's where your combo videos are probably going to be coming from.
I like the game's feel is really strange. Like I really like it, but like it's this combination of like very very in-depth attacks and combo stuff with like the slowest movement up and down.
Double Dragon.
Like I'm not super familiar with old Double Dragon. I played them back in the day, but that was a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And I forgot that like when attacks hit vertical in Double Dragon, like if you do not have time to move.
No. Up and down is super slow. Yeah.
Up and down is the slowest shit there ever was.
And then there's the other thing too is you have there's a fun aspect to the game that's very reminiscent of Ikaruga, which is when you kill 3 enemies at the same time, you get healing back. So you want to try to group up. So a group of 2 will walk in, and the third one will be later from another side, and you have to like kind of sheepdog herd them together and then take them out. And when you're doing it efficiently with both players, it's all about like herding into groups of 3 and above, and then simultaneously taking them out.
The feeling of like just kind of wiggling your character to get all of them in a big nice pile, and then getting a turkey out of it. It feels great.
A Bobo in particular is awesome for like doing a juggle and then air smash into the bam, or you can do his air SPD, spinning pile driver, and then while he's in the air, do the giant Abobo ground slam and like just completely wreck everybody. It's just fun beat up the dudes, little game for you. And Double Dragon is one of those things that like that and River City, they keep showing back up. Every once in a while, you're like, it's been a couple years. What's going on with that franchise?
They were dead as fuck for a real stretch, and now they are just like, for 2 or 3 years there'll be some new remix, and they're all pretty good.
Yeah, ever since Neon, I would say Neon kind of came out and everyone enjoyed it, and they're like,
yeah,
okay,
I would say that
we can do this now. We can bring it back. So yeah, that was good. Thanks to them for
He
their timely sponsored stream.
No, extremely timely. Hey, I wanna be really blunt with everybody. I am gonna do my best to not become that guy, but I will admit that I kind of disassociated there for a little bit in the middle of that conversation, going, there's a baby now," and then it passed after a few
Yes.
seconds.
Yes, this is what I'm saying. You're literally in it. The wildest part of this is that this is not processed. It's processing. And will continue to do so. But that's fine.
Like,
We'll go
oh
through.
man,
Yeah.
oh, that baby made sure to. He wanted that Baldur's Gate 3, man. He wanted to be around
Needed
for
to be
it.
there for it.
He
Yeah.
wanted to help me build a character.
No, if you ever just need to stare off into middle distance, that's okay. I'll try to pick up on the cues.
I've been doing that a bunch. Would you believe it?
I did actually load up and look at the Baldur's Gate character select just to see how that was going to feel like. And, yeah, I guess the important thing is not to see how many overwhelming choices there would be. It would be to see what the limitations are. Because in my brain, I'm hoping for a whole lot that may or may not be there. And now I know how much is not there.
So they do a pretty good thing with the beginning of the character creator, where the choices are fairly understandable and limited at zero. At level zero, you're like, what do you want to look like? Where are you from? What is the basic class and subtype that you want? And then you get to your stats. And I messed around and made a bunch of characters and kept making. I mentioned it a few weeks ago. I kept making the recommended stat loadout.
Right,
Like
yeah.
I would tally it up. And I want 16 in this. I want 16 in that, and I would hit recommend, and it wouldn't change. The recommended for whatever your subtype is seem really solid. Which for D&D and ability scores, that's always been like a kind of contentious thing. Like, yeah, you're good to just hit recommended on your ability scores.
So my impression of that character builder was that it feels like it's very restricted to keep the system from falling apart with too much freedom.
So are you talking about mechanically or like visually?
So a little bit of both. So one thing right off the bat that I guess I wasn't expecting but saw was like no body type variability whatsoever.
There is in the final release,
okay.
but it's not a slider. They talked about sliders and how they dislike sliders. The body type variability will be for some of the race picks, like half elves. Do you want to have a human body or like a little burlier, or do you want to have like more slender elf body?
Okay.
And same thing with faces. No sliders. They're all predetermined. There was an interview where they talked about it and said they had a version of the game that had sliders and they were really unhappy with it. And they wanted to have predefined pieces so that your character would look consistent with every other character that they found in the game. The system they're using for your guy is the system they use for nearly every NPC in the game.
Right. Yeah.
Because they didn't name drop it, but they didn't want to have the shepherd problem. The Mass Effect shepherd problem was real. There was
you look incredible in a bunch of ways, and every NPC is just a completely separate creator.
And a lot of people made shepherds that look like dog shit compared to the stuff that was in the game. They did mention Street Fighter.
Ah, interesting.
They specifically mentioned
kind of spoiled us with the sliders.
We do not want to have a bunch of freaks roaming around in your game.
Okay.
It was not like disparaging, but they're like, no, that's not the kind of thing that we want.
Because I guess I was looking around and checking it out, and I was like, oh, so like, there's like like the orcish looking race, and like they're all skinny. You can't really go big, or if you're doing whatever the build is for now is like, it seems like you're pretty restricted in
there
that
will
way.
be a larger body type,
Okay.
but they also wanted to keep that fairly standardized so
Hmm.
that like probably they don't have to make that many different like armors or
And then other
clothing
things, and then
presets.
some things get tons of options, right? So if you go, you're looking at like a tiefling, and it's like, yo, we got a million types of horns. What do you want your horns to look like? You know?
Including I tried to cut my horns off
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hellboy.
as an option, which
Hmm.
is the coolest one.
Absolutely. So that was like, okay, you gave some options there. You know, that's nice. So yeah, we'll wait for the full as well. I saw that.
Like there's the ability to like unlock the skin tone and eye colors for Tiefling, and you can play like a human shaded like because tieflings are all like chromatic, they're all like bright red or yellow or
Hmm.
blue or something, but you can pick a human skin tone with a human hair tone and human eye color and pick the shaved horns
Hmm.
and be like I'm like human facing
Yeah.
my
So
teeth to my tiefling.
so I was gonna ask, like, how weird does that look in the rest of the game? Because like, I don't imagine you run into anyone else that is within that.
I mean,
Like,
you might. They have a cool feature, which is like when you pick a race and then you pick like skin tone or eye color, there's the ones that are appropriate for that setting,
yeah,
but then you click expand it to
all.
everything.
Hmm.
So everything within the normal range,
Will
you're
be in
probably going to run
game.
into some variation, but outside of that normal range, you're very unlikely to run into anybody. But you can make it for you if you want.
Right, right. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And then, yeah, and then the stats wise, I'm looking at D&D stats and things like that. That's all pretty straightforward.
There's something they did for the final release that's very different from how it's being presented now. So classically in D&D, you have the thing of like dwarves have +2 to Constitution, right? And
Hmm.
that's dwarves just got that.
Hmm.
That's just how they is. And the problem with that is that it like makes some races way, way, way better than others at some classes.
Hmm.
They have removed that for the final release. No matter what race you pick, you will get a +2 to a stat of choice, and you will get a +1 to a stat of choice.
Okay,
So, like, if you want to be the smartest dwarven wizard or the burliest elf, you
you get to
totally
do that.
can.
Nice. Okay, smart. Something that I looked at too, and I'm like having flashbacks to high school where my friend was explaining to me when I was learning stats. We the way we used to play was wisdom was how book learned you were and educated, and intelligence was how intuitively smart you were. And it seems like the
Oh, that
description is the
hasn't been the
reverse
case.
here.
That has never been the case. That was a homebrew rule you were dealing with.
Oh, wow! I've
Um,
I've learned that wrong from
Uh,
years ago.
in,
Then.
intel intelligence was usually your raw intuitiveness as well as your ability to learn, recycle, recite information. Wisdom has usually been the application of existing knowledge.
That's so strange to me because the words make me think of like how a wise old man is wise because he's experienced more than I have, but someone who's
Yeah.
intelligent is doesn't necessarily have that experience, but they're just able to be smart
Yeah.
about what little
Charisma
things they
has
have. So it feels like the words
char
are off there, you know?
charisma has become a much broader stat than it used to be.
Mm.
Because charisma is like how charming you are in its original incarnation in D&D.
Hmm.
But now it is not necessarily I'm a likable handsome guy because it used to be like in 2.0, 1.0, charisma would like your score determine your physical attractiveness.
Okay.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
and it
yeah.
was literally just how much riz you had.
Yes, yes.
Um Now it is not that. It is the force of your personality. How overwhelming is your presence,
Hmm.
right? Because it allows for things like ugly, like dumb shit paladins who are just true fucking believers who are way into their own shit, and like you can feel that coming off
Yeah.
of them. That's
Yeah, yeah.
technically charisma now.
No, that same high school like learning of the stats, charisma. Like I remember there's like a character there's like charisma 18, and it's like, oh yeah, that just means you're beautiful. That just means you're hot. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
it means people will like you by default, and it means that you're good with your words, and it
mhm.
means
And I'm
um,
And then you eyeball things like charisma as the ability versus intimidation versus, intuiting like liars and things like that. And you're kind of like, okay, so you can probably like be suave to get your way, or you can shake your fist to get your way, and it'll
You
probably
can shake
even
your
out the
fist,
same
you can be
thing.
suave, or you can lie. Or they've done a really fun job with like barbarians typically don't have much besides an intimidation because they're not particularly smart and they're not particularly charismatic. But there's like in the early access thing, I think I might have mentioned this earlier. There's a situation in which wizards and sorcerers can't open like a magic door because it's too heavily warded, and they just don't have the intelligence or the wisdom or the charisma to open it.
Mm.
But barbarians passing a strength check can just pull it out of the wall
Okay.
and just bypass the magical ward entirely.
Yeah.
Just
So
get out of here.
So yeah, no, I hope the launch version of this does end up resembling like an MMO character creator, where you get like tons of different final states to use. But yeah, I just got a feel for it. Saw some haircuts and what we're dealing with. So meh.
One of my favorite things, they showed off like the dragon race, the cool like Dragonborn, I think they're called. And you have this variety of tail options, including my favorite, no tail.
Oh, nice, interesting.
If you don't want a tail clipping through the back of your fucking ass through every single piece of gear you wear, no tail.
Because yeah, the
Done.
tiefling had that, and that didn't seem to be an option. Okay, cool. Anyways, yeah, I don't know if was there anything else that
Let me check the list of video. Let me go to video producer on Twitch. Oh, I played Dave the Diver. It's cool. I don't really have any strong thoughts on it.
okay.
It's really cool and seems really charming, but I don't like the core diving gameplay. So, not my thing. Oh, I played Viewfinder. You remember Vinny talked about Viewfinder last week?
Which one was that?
Viewfinder is the game that if you have a photo of something and hold the photo up and click, it replaces the world with your photo. Like it makes the universe consistent with you holding the photo up.
Oh,
It's
cool.
very, very hard to
Interesting.
explain this with words. You kind of have to see a picture of it or a trailer of it. So there's a famous clip going around that's been part of the discourse of Vinny hearing the narration for that game, and the woman goes, "Did you just alter reality with your bot?" And him going into the options and turning the sound down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was like, yeah, but he said he really liked it last week, so I decided I'd check it out. So I checked it out, and I was really liking it, and um I was like, I'm going to keep the narration on, right? I'm going to keep it on. I'm going to give it a shot. And then after about 40 minutes, I turned it off. And after about 15 minutes of that, I then turned off the subtitles too.
Wow.
And was just left with the ambient noise and some nice music. And was like, this is much, much better.
Huh. So the narrative to the
And
experience is not crucial then.
I don't care. It might be.
Okay.
I don't think it is. I have never played a game. No, not true. I have played one game that made me feel this way. And it was Borderlands 3. But that has a lot more active story in it. And Borderlands 3 would be an 11 out of 10 game if you removed every single line of dialogue in the entire game.
Wow. Okay.
Removed. Gone. I've told this before on the podcast, but like I have a friend, my friend Strident, he played through it to completion, but only after him and some buddies of his figured out that if you delete every single voice file in the game's folder, it just tries to play it and can't and skips dialogue forward
Hmm.
and cut like when you're hanging out and talking, when you're doing a mission and the radio comes on and somebody tells you
Mm-hmm.
some bullshit and tries to make a joke, it just skips through it instantly
Hmm.
and has no voice acting.
Jesus
Um,
Christ. Okay.
and that version of the game is
Superior.
way better.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
way better. And
Oh
that
man.
sucks.
Like
That sucks.
I'm looking at this one in particular, Viewfinder, and it's certainly like yeah, we're just as we're talking about these first person what the fuck games, you know, Portal, Superliminal, Stanley Parable, yada yada.
Portal, Stanley Parable, Viewfinder, Superliminal, and Antechamber.
Sure, yep.
Um,
I would throw The Witness in there too, you know, and
with anything that deals with
Mist,
non-Euclidean space is my
you know.
favorite thing. This one's really, really good. As soon as I turned that voice off,
Okay.
and I saw people talking about it before I played it, like Portal would get panned nowadays if it came out as is now. And there's two things about that. One, that's not fair. Portal invented that genre.
It was first. It was first.
And two, the writing and delivery in Portal is way, way better than what is on display in all of them but Stanley Parable.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, Portal is people at the time know it as a spin-off of Half-Life, and thus you're looking at it as a tonally like different thing that's kind of like a funny take on this world, right?
That distinction is so meaningless now. Like, it's Half-Life is so far away.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I
At the
was still
time,
in
though.
high school, man.
At the time, certainly.
Oh my god.
But when I think of like the stuff like even like the beginner's guide is one where it's first person what the fuck, but mainly because of the narration and less because of the things you're doing and the rules that you're breaking in the world, you know. So sometimes it does in fact matter, but yeah, if there's any major life revelations or personal stories being told via that narration that you're gonna miss, I guess you're just gonna miss them while putting the photos up and stepping on the brick, you know.
The other game that I talked about that that I've been really enjoying and would like to spend way more time in, and I'm looking like I have my Steam on right now, and Steam is popping up. Your friend this is playing this game. Your friend this is playing this game. I mentioned Remnant 2 last week as like a really, really solid
Mm-hmm.
Souls game with guns, but has like a Diablo structure, randomly generated areas,
Mm-hmm.
right? It is fucking great. I beat the main story of one of the zones, and then it says you've unlocked adventure mode. Do you want to re-roll that zone into its other variation that has a completely different story in all different areas? Do you want to re-roll it again? And each version has its own narrative, but it also has different dungeons, sub-dungeons, and those all get re-rolled into each other. Do you want to re-roll your main campaign progress with the character that you have now and keep it? Do you want to yada yada yada?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's fantastic. Just today, a class called Archon got unlocked. And what I mean by it got unlocked today, it didn't get patched. It didn't whatever. They realized that people were going to data mine the game for secrets. And so there's a class that had to be data mined out called Archon,
Hmm.
in which the conditions for unlocking it are a total gibberish. You have to have this skill equipped, you have to have this item equipped, you have to have this item equipped, you have to have this amulet equipped, you have to be in this location, you have to be wearing this shit and have these skills. And then you unlock the Archon class because it's contextual to you data mining these requirements out because there's nothing in the game that will tell you.
Jesus.
They expected it to be data mined out, and the class is like associated
Oh
with being
man,
data mined out.
Gaster shit.
So it is now unlocked in that they're the list of things you have to do is now available, so you can go and get it.
Is there a Chivo for it?
I don't know. All I know is that you can have it unlocked. It's really cool. It is like the closest any game will probably come for a while to like becoming a Jedi in Star Wars Galaxies again.
It's just
Where
the
it's like just the nonsense that you would have to do, and there's no way to figure it out until you kind of cheat a little bit.
well, that's the yeah. I'm imagining the game where it's like the final step to unlock the final secret is to go fuck with the INI files and replace some textures. Congratulations, you've unlocked the final class, and now you get an achievement, and your account is banned. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
But yeah, no, Remnant 2 it's really good. It feels really good. I had one complaint last week that I don't know if I mentioned, but your main character talked too much. Like every time you got into a fight, you'd be like, "Oh, here we go!" And then you'd kill like the final enemy and go, "Oh, that was a close one." And that shit, they dramatically toned that down this week via a patch. Like like 1/5 or less the amount of player dialogue.
Okay.
Um, Huge improvement. Um, the other thing that's really funny, and I mean really funny, the game has a character creator. It's not very deep, but it's there. It's like, oh, choose my eyes, choose my hair, choose my skin tone, choose one of the faces. Um, After the tutorial, they give you your class equipment, which most of them are helmets, and then you will just never see your character's head ever again.
Oh yeah.
Like after
Okay.
after you play the game for about an hour, they go, okay, we're done with your character having a head. Your character will now have armor. It's somewhat similar to Dark Souls.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's good. It's good. I
Cool.
like it. It's a good game.
Okay.
Oh, you can
Um.
turn the helmet. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, what is your schedule going to be?
This week, as of right now, there is no schedule other than on Thursday, I'll be streaming Baldur's Gate. The next
Okay.
couple of days, there will be no streams from Pat, as I will be hanging out and transporting the wife and taking care of baby and getting things settled. But I will be streaming Baldur's Gate when it comes out.
Okay. Let's take a quick break. I gotta use the bathroom.
I'm gonna piss myself. I gotta go.
All right. BRB. And there we are. Nice.
Real light versus dark shit.
Yeah. No, fuck those four kings up. There you go.
Dude, Nvidia's fucking camera thing with their fake green screen works like really well. I'm very impressed. To the
Yeah.
audio listeners, I have removed my background and live in the void now.
You can live in the void. You can chill with Framped. I'll hang out here in the light side. And I got my fucking boy. I got my my nameless king up there. That thing arrived.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
This is what it feels like to be without baby. Just emptiness.
Crazy. Well, yeah, anyways, you can add more reverb on your voice too, and just really like, you know.
At the house, yeah, I got a voice changing thing built into the mixer, so yeah, I can do all sorts of stupid shit.
Well, it's funny too. You were mentioning, like obviously, yeah, you're gonna be off on stream this week. Just coincidentally, I was like Reg and I were talking about it. I was also gonna take this week off, and possibly the next as well. So, we might try to make something work, since if there's nothing going on both sides. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should do something, just because
you should do something. Well, I'm gonna stream Baldur's Gate like Thursday, Friday, probably Saturday. Like it's been very important to us that despite baby being here, it's been particularly important to Paige that this doesn't mean that the show will be having any major disruptions. It does mean that there's a significant possibility that while I'm streaming, you may hear in the background, "Oh my God, there's poop everywhere!" And then I'll go, "Excuse me, everyone, I need to go for a few minutes."
Yes. That is imminent. No, well, for starters, I mean, we're going to Evo right this weekend, so.
Oh yeah,
that's happening. So Thursday,
dude. I remember, I think it was Susie asked me if I was going to be at Evo, and I'm like, Susie, there's a baby in my wife right now. It could happen at any time. And as it so happened, now would be a really bad time for me to go to Evo.
Yeah. And like, funny enough, like that's pretty much, Max had the exact same thing, right? Like, when his kid was born, it was right on Evo weekend as well. So that is a permanent thing, Evo is now replaced by baby. That is it.
Pat Jr. wants $1 million, but I don't think I can get him up to snuff in time.
Well, in either case, so I'll be heading down, and it'll be Thursday through to the next Monday when we come back. So yeah, podcasts will probably have to bump forward.
That's fine.
And then. Yeah, I think we're trying to figure out if I could just get some breathing time, because we've both been kind of going kind of hard, and I was hitting a point where I'm like, oh, I remember the last time I was starting to feel kind of burnt out, but I didn't realize it, and it's once you know what that feels like in advance, you should do something about it. So
I think every single person that does anything even adjacent to this has fully burnt out at least once. Kept doing it until someone convinced them to take a couple weeks off, right? And then every time after that, they're like, "Oh, I know this feeling. This is the feeling where everything's going to become awful soon. Time to chill."
So I guess I'll have a chat with Reggie. We'll figure it out, and then I'll announce on my on Twitter or whatever my schedule is going to be. And then, excuse me, at least I know for Baldur's Gate purposes, yeah, like at a glance, it seems like split screen, local only, based on continuing the same file, and then otherwise you're doing multiplayer, unique setups and online connection.
I think there's something you should know about Baldur's Gate 3. If you and Reggie, say, made both custom characters to play a session, right? I believe the player 2 character will not be able to be removed from that session. They will be in there forever. I don't know if you can kick them out of the party or not, but I'm pretty sure that the second created character will continue to exist forever on that save file.
And what I read that if you connect with somebody online, that if that person leaves, then someone else can take control of the person that was now like an open slot, an open player or so.
I
But
believe so.
but what happens if that game with the co-op character then goes to connect online to play with people in a party?
It appears to be that if you want to play it co-op, you want to play a fucking co-op run of this game. And if you want to play it single player, you probably want to play a single player version of this game. I think there is a version where you can join someone's game and then you could just go, Reggie, you're playing Shadowheart and Asterion, right? And then if Reggie's not there, you just maintain all control over everybody. Like you have FF6 had the character control
Okay, yeah.
like that. But if you make a custom bro, then that custom bro will just be stuck in that save file. And I believe characters are attached to save files. They don't exist independently.
And if you load up without a second controller attached, is the computer going to just run around as that
No,
character?
you would have total control over that.
Over both
But
of them?
I don't know if you can kick the custom guy out.
Okay.
You might be able to just send him to camp and him just be the loser custom. Right?
Okay. Well, in that case, then we might just have to have two different types of setups figured out, and I'll see what's possible with the couch limitations when we play, and then if the ability to go online and figure it out with like your connection and stuff is possible, then we'll do it that way, and whatever gets lost, and it's fine, you know?
So, I mean, the easiest way to check this is to load up load up a brand new file with two custom guys, and then kill Reggie.
Yeah, and
Murder him and see what happens.
And so, in trying to do a little bit of homework on it, the early access really doesn't even let you get the controllers out at all.
No,
nothing's
controller
there yet,
support is
so
day one.
A lot of this is going to have to be after it launches. So, okay, we'll figure that out.
I would be able to answer you if I had a review code, but because I am a dirtbag streamer mostly, I did not get in part of the cool gang of people who have review codes already.
Okay.
I'm part of the loser gang that will probably get them the afternoon of the 2nd. Or maybe even not at all.
Well, by the time I get back, then we'll know how this works. So.
Yeah, I can build a list or a chart for you.
Nice. Okay. So beyond that, yeah. What else is going on? So I mentioned it briefly, but I saw Barbie. Right. Then, which means Oppenheimer still awaits. I didn't complete the Barbieheimer experience. And I did see that depending on the order you see them in determines something of your personality. Are you the type that needs to go into the fantasy world and then be brought down to crushing reality? Or do you see crushing reality, acknowledge it, and then decide to lighten up the palate with some dessert? You know?
I admit, dude, I'm sure Oppenheimer is like really good. I have no desire to see that. I very strongly want to see the Barbie movie. But like,
I mean, I missed Tenet, so to me, Nolan is still doing good. You know, apparently seeing Tenet for a lot of people made them go, "Oh, Nolan can miss sometimes."
I've seen some clips from Tenet, and I'm like overwhelmed by its pretentiousness. Like I am just. Come on.
I don't know. I've heard opinions from people that are like, nah, not hitting it. But I'm just, you know, I got my Dark Knight and Inception Nolan memories, so I'm like, yeah, I want to catch Oppenheimer. But no, and I mean there's in the short of it, really, like Barbie's gonna be a lot of fun in that it's gonna be very similar to kind of like, you know, remember Lego Movie?
I do.
There's a lot of similarities there. I mean, literally down to like fucking Will Ferrell being in the thing. Um, in terms of
Isn't
just
that weird?
it
Isn't that
very,
super
but
weird?
I think I think it's a very like deliberate choice because that energy is the same idea that they want in this movie too, where they're going for like a little bit of a pump fake on what you'd expect of the name and the type of movie it would be versus how they actually deliver the story and the what the movie's actually about, you know. Yeah, Will Ferrell is a great dumb adult foil to handle uh, children's toys inappropriately. So that's pretty fun. Yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, I'll keep it vague because I think you guys should catch it when you can. But obviously, the sets are amazing. There's some really fun musical numbers. Ryan Gosling kind of steals the show in a lot of places by just like fucking doing it. That story he told about seeing Ken face down in the dirt, and when he read the script, and he's like, "I need to tell this man's story." Like you can kind of see that, you know, that comes through. And yeah, I feel as if like there's definitely parts of this where I guess what I expected and then what you get is gonna be different. And even within those expectations, they also like swerve a couple times. It's I guess the best way to describe it that I've seen is like, okay, so there's moments of this that are just really overall like humanist and very well, you know, presented. And
Uh huh.
and while it's doing that, and while it's aware of what Mattel is and what the toys are and what they represent to women, and while you're kind of asking these questions, it has. Oh, there you are. Um, it has these moments where it's like it's critiquing uh, what could be called BuzzFeed feminism, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's doing so within the lens of BuzzFeed feminism, you know, and it overall, oh wow, now we're in prison. Now we're under the boards. And in doing so, it asks some questions that are like, whoo, I don't know if the toy movie can answer some of these. And then the toy movie's kind of like, yeah, no, we're a toy movie. We actually can't answer some of these questions, you know. So we'll imply the right direction to go in to seek answers, I suppose. But it kind of leaves them off there while bringing them up. I guess that's the way I'll put it.
Okay.
Every once in a while, you see like a movie bite off more than it can chew, and you're like, "Ooh, you're biting off a lot there. How you gonna chew that?"
This is a big
Yeah.
statement for the movie about the dolls.
And then and then as the credits roll, the movie's got its mouth full going, you know, you're like, yeah, you know. But
Yeah.
I do think there's a nice there's a nice bookend to a major like bit with the character that does come back around and like make a very human story out of the whole thing. So the movie with the dolls,
But they're made out of plastic, Wooly. How could the story be human?
it was very that's crazy. It's almost as can a human be human, David?
No.
Yeah.
Humans can't be human.
No, there's obviously some stuff there as well that like, you know, the commercial sets you up for like questions pertaining to mortality, and you're like, I think if you're bringing your kids to this one, going, it's the Barbie movie, as long as you're down to have the conversation with them immediately afterwards about that and about the nature of the world, then it's a good time. But if you're someone who's like, how am I supposed to explain insert anything here to my children, then good fucking luck. This ain't the one.
You can't.
And then
Why don't you just have a fucking Why don't you just make a fucking 45-minute review of the Barbie movie about how it didn't make you feel happy enough that because your producers went to make you go see it?
Oh man, you can always light it on fire for that extra bit of attention if you need it, but at the end of the day, you know,
I gotta say, man, I
if
don't know. You ever see like somebody making fun of someone, and you're like, I don't even care if it's real at all
hmm
because it feels real. Ben Shapiro, professional dweeb, made a scathing review of how the Barbie movie sucks.
yeah,
And when he went to talk about how they don't respect Ken, he accidentally said his own name.
he's not Kenuff.
It's the
He's
most
not Benuff. He
it's the
isn't.
most pathetic thing in the world.
If only he felt Benuff, you know? But sadly, he does not. And that's the problem, really. He's going to have to spend some time in the Casa house before he can come to any conclusions. Maybe have a dance-off battle, you know? But anyway, yeah, no, there's there's a bunch of great fucking Ken bits that I'm like I don't want to spoil, but just you know, the entire arc there is a hilarious one that he does a great job selling. And yeah, I don't know. I feel as if like the inevitable result of this is like, okay, this movie came along, tried to do some shit, didn't land all of it, but landed a sufficient amount of what it was going for, and now the Mattel response, despite being the kind of company that's like, I'm willing to be made fun of, wow, we are enhancing. Okay, we are in there. The fact that their response is like, everyone loved it, this is awesome, time to go get the Polly Pocket script
Oh
made.
man.
Time to go get the fucking what else do we own? Do we own yeah, Mighty Max? Do we own Treasure
Oh, I would kill
Trolls?
the Mighty Max movie, bro.
Right? Uno, Bratz, all of them. So the whole universe, the whole cinematic universe is now they're trying to build this up to see if they can turn it into that. And it's like, man, like this kind of had a point in what it was going for here, and I'm sure you can get that going with each one of these brands, I suppose. But like it's so hilariously on brand to be the exact movie version of Mattel where you're just like, you just don't get it. Why would you ever possibly? It's like brand equals money, and this thing brought attention to, you know, a doll that probably wasn't selling particularly well in recent years and is now kind of back in the zeitgeist. And can we get Treasure Trolls back in the zeitgeist? Can we do this? Can we make them care? You know, we'll find.
I mean,
out,
I feel like anyone at Mattel who thinks that any toy ever will ever be what a Barbie doll is, it has lost their fucking mind. Like the Barbie doll is so fucking enmeshed in human society. Like Barbies are more important on the girly girl end than GI Joes are
Mm-hmm.
on the boy end.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Now,
they're supposed to be equivalent, but like there are a lot of types of GI Joes. There's
yes.
fucking Barbie.
There's a lot of Barbie types. No. There's a lot of Barbie types, but what they represent, as the movie establishes, is that what every woman can do in a you know, all covered fashion. The thing is that like I don't know that while Barbie represents any woman and Barbie can do anything, I don't know if anyone feels that way about Treasure Trolls or Max
No,
Steel.
they
I
don't.
don't think the Treasure Troll is meant to make everyone troll feel like they can do anything. I don't know if, you know, Mighty Max is supposed to make any kid feel like they can scour through any mini dungeon. Like I don't. There's no, what are we doing? You know. So yeah. Good luck with trying to find something profound with all of these. I suppose. Jesus, I'm getting that. Yeah. Okay. You keep playing around.
I'm having fun with my camera toy. Oh, hey, this one.
There you go.
Hey, what's up?
All right.
Zoomed in Pat from the void.
Anyway, so beyond that, go check it out, and then go Oppenheim, and then we'll see how it go. I'm also coming off of spending a good amount of.
I have a question for anyone that's in our live audience who's seen Oppenheimer. Is there a part of Oppenheimer where, like, President Truman, like, screams at Oppenheimer in the Oval Office that he's a fucking pussy?
Yeah,
Because
I
that's
heard
a
about
real
that.
thing that actually happened.
I heard about that, and I heard that the script.
Yeah, that's in the movie?
So
I gotta see this movie.
So apparently, there's an exchange that historians looked at as one where it was originally read as a means of like taking comfort and blame off of him, to be like, hey, I'm the one responsible. Don't worry about it. The buck stops here kind of moment. And in the way but the way it's read in the movie is not that at all. The way it's read in the movie is, you fucking bitch, fine. I'll do it. Get out of my way. Like, you know, like there's something that changes the way you read it in a book versus the way it's acted out that has a different energy to it. Do it, pussy, no balls.
Yeah, that's a very famous like thing that like Oppenheimer was like, "Oh no, I'm the destroyer of worlds," and Truman, who made the decision to use the bomb, was like, "Fuck you! It's on my hands because I dropped it. Shut up."
Yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, looking forward to that. Also, apparently, a whole lot of fucking, like, it ain't just about the
Oppenheimer?
bomb. Yeah, I think there's some banging in that. Apparently,
Can I get a movie based on that dumb shit who killed himself with the Demon Core instead? Are you familiar with this?
no.
So the Demon Core was during the development of later bombs. They discovered the idea is that if you had a piece of plutonium and you encased it in like a perfect sphere of some fancy metal, it would like just bombard. Like the reaction would cause this massive explosion of radiation, right? But it had to be completely encapsulated, right? If it was anything but completely encapsulated, pretty much nothing would happen, right? And so the guys who were making this, one of them would be like, "Hey, check out how close I can get the demon core to going off." So he'd put a fucking screwdriver in the half of the sphere and just kind of tilt it up and go, "Look, it's so close. It's so close." And then he dropped it. And there was a burst of light. And then they immediately flopped it off. And as the guys were trying to run away, one of the dev guys in the room was like, "Everyone needs to go back to the exact spot they were standing in when that flash happened, so that we can figure out how much shit you guys
You got
just
blasted with.
absorbed."
Damn.
And the guy who dropped it, I believe his words were, "Oh, that's it then," or something along those lines.
Okay.
He melted.
Is this the, okay? I heard a story like this about a screwdriver, but it was an accident. I didn't. But is this the same story?
Oh no, they were just playing around with their dick and balls, going, "Look how close I can get it." Ooh.
Sick. Yeah.
Apparently, I think it happened multiple times.
Like, I don't think you need a movie for that. I think you can get one of those Canadian part of our heritage commercials going.
Yeah,
you know, a solid 45 seconds. Really. All right. Well, anyway. So beyond that, I spent a good couple. I got some good time in on Tekken 8. The beta is open, and
is it 4?
Tekken 8 is in fact 4. It appears to be 4. We are in that space. No, yeah, I was able to try out a code thanks to the person that had one. Sent it over, and so playing the closed network beta test on that, it ran, and I guess it's still running. I don't know. It's weird hours, but it seems to just be going full time. Yeah, I've had a number of matches, and I have to say, like, 1 out of 5 matches, maybe 2 out of 5 matches have what? Okay, 1 out of 5 matches has like some hiccups, and 1 out of 5 matches has like bad hiccups, and
Yeah.
it sucks because I'm like, yeah, this is constantly a problem. Coming off of playing some Street Fighter 6, as I was mentioning, and you know, even when you get a bad, you get someone on Wi-Fi, and you're like, I can't believe this is somehow working. I'm running into constant issues that are really annoying and freezing up and such, and you know, not to just beat the dead horse, but the difference this week is I've gotten my hands on it now, you know? So that sucks. Outside of that, character-wise, I'm looking around for something, and I guess I'm messing with Leroy Smith in the meantime, because, you know, he's sick, he's got sugar, he's that's the future of my dreads, so why not? And I guess I'm just kind of like, you know, I'm like, this is cool. The new leak list that came out shows that someone took Cheat Engine and found even more leaked characters.
Yay!
And the leaks include characters like Shaheen, a.k.a. Boring Rashid, Raven,
Yeah.
Zafina, Yoshimitsu, Elisa, and Steve Fox.
Wow!
I'm like,
who could have thought that Tekken would include these characters?
like, that's great. Yoshimitsu and Steve were the characters I used to play. I like that. That's nice. Why is there still not a single original brand new character? Like,
I don't know. It's weird.
I'm happy that, yay, my character Steve is there. That's cool. Yay old thing. I can still look at that and go, what the fuck is going on? Nothing new. Not one. It's weird to see, like,
It is weird.
12 plus into the roster now, and it's all just returning, you know? So, I don't know. I hope something gets said or shown soon, but...
You know, I'm thinking back, dude. You mentioned like 1 out of 5 is like kind of iffy, and 1 out of 5 is a major problem. Like like iffy or like bad rate of like 30% is fucking terrible. Like that is awful.
Man. It's a kind
And
of
30% is me being generous. It's probably closer to 40%.
it's a hype deflator, dude. There's a lot of matches that get queued up that just get denied. Like, it just won't link us. You know, you accept, and then the other end, and it just goes, I don't know, maybe you're too far, or maybe it's just like, I'm not even gonna try. But there's a lot of time spent when it's searching, and then it won't even let it through. So yeah, this is the first, and we'll see what happens when they learn from this and change things. But it just is not fucking great to have, in contrast with a game that is working, whole lot of fun, and currently kind of stealing the lunch of many other like fighting game announcements right now. Because like a Tekken announcement should be a huge deal, and it is that we're getting to see it and it's happening. But a lot of people are like, yeah, awesome, and then right back to 6, because 6 is fucking there, man, and it's doing it, you know?
Street Fighter 6 has got me back into fighting games, and I played like 140 hours of it since its release. And
you know,
I look at Tekken. I really like Tekken. I like Tekken almost as much as I like Street Fighter. And I played almost no 6 and almost no 7 because, I mean, fuck it. This match shit is awful.
Yeah. So Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising also had a closed beta test this weekend, and I tried to go grab that. I downloaded it and booted it up, and it said, sorry, it's closed. And I was like, because they apparently, the times they listed it was for only like 6-hour windows to play, so they were the exact opposite of Tekken. They were just like, you have to be here now, and then we're shutting it down. So I didn't get to play any of it. But that one, I don't know about the how the netcode stuff is going. But the main thing I'm hearing is the gameplay decisions that they changed are very weird
I
and
also heard
not
that.
great. The two big ones being like, so when you tech a throw now, the window to tech a throw is gigantic. You have
How much we talking?
30 frames. So there's an early tech.
Throwing frames.
There's an early tech, and then like after that initial early tech window, there's a late tech window that's like 30 fucking frames or so, and the
People
late
in the chat are saying it's 40.
40. Okay, yeah, yeah, chanson. So that's it, and like 40 frames is like that's the entirety of a, for anyone wondering how long that is, an entire drive impact in Street Fighter 6 is like it's 27, right? To start from start to hit
Almost
impact.
2 back-to-back drive impacts.
So you're looking at an incredibly slow amount of time, which is wild. I would expect that from in Blaze Blue they do something where usually in fighting games you cannot throw somebody who's in the middle of getting like hit or blocking. But in Blaze Blue, they let you do that. They let you throw, but they give you a giant window to attack, right? It's like, no, you got to be sleeping to not get out of this. And in this case, it's just the normal one. So so throwing has become really weird and easy to do, I guess, or easy to stop. And then the other thing they did, which is a much wilder change, is they made it so that the easy inputs and the normal classic inputs are 100% identical in properties, whereas before it used to be a difference in, usually there's a difference in meter or a difference in damage, or there'd be something so that you get a reward for doing the quarter circle or something, but now they wanted it to be 1-to-1.
Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising said, "You want some fucking woke controls? Let's go."
And you can even turn off motion inputs so that you don't have the classic inputs at all. And yeah,
What? That's
yeah,
crazy.
it's crazy. So in this world where we're all about like, yo, let's do modern, let's give people accessible options so that they can have fun with the games, that's totally okay. And in fact, I would say DNF Duel did a great job of building the game primarily for that, and then giving you motions for better magic efficiency or so. But in Grand Blue now, they already had it in place where you had a shortcut button and then the motions, and they're just like, yeah, we want them to both be the same, meaning there's no benefit whatsoever to going through the trouble of doing the motion. There's just no reason to ever do it. And it's just, they're kind of like, well, we know some players kind of like to do it instinctually, so we'll keep it for that purpose. But it's like, no, like, you designed it from the jump to kind of be this way. It's too late now. It's just a weird thing to go like, yeah, fuck it, we're not going to balance around that. I think everyone can agree that it's a silly choice, because there being an easy button that comes with a trade-off, and that trade-off, depending on what game you are, can be, you know, if it's damage for Street Fighter 6 or if it's cooldown for those games. That's fair. It's totally fair and valid. And if you want to get a faster uppercut, you know, because of the situation, like, by all means do it and take the trade-off, you know. But don't make it so that anyone who's doing it the hard way and the long way has zero incentive to do so. Even Smash
They
Brothers
should just remove
that.
the classic inputs entirely and just have it be the weird in-between Smash Bros. Game, if they're going to do that.
At this point, yeah.
I think they should really actually do that. I think it should be, because like I don't know if it's part of the news, but like there's news that like Street Fighter could have shipped with just no classic controls at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like modern only was like a possibility.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But like Grand Blue Fantasy versus Visitor, they've gone too far already. They should just have it be that. They should just have it be.
If this is what your
between
design
Street Fighter and
decision
Smash.
is, then, and I mean, so that's the bit, like the layout, the button layout in DNF Duel, like I said, it pushes you towards using the easy buttons as the main way to play. It gives you 2 attack buttons and one easy magic button and 1 easy special button, and that's default layout. So doing quarter circles is actually not the norm, you know. Yeah, I don't know. So that's a weird decision from that game right off the bat, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, well, back to Street Fighter then, you know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see, man. You know, do your
So
thing, guys.
fighting games haven't been like this for a while. A lot of genres have like really intense, super gigantic, forever games that are the thing to beat. Fighting games, I feel like everybody's been rotating through the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. But now that Street Fighter 6 has that good net code and that fast matches and everybody's happy, that like now games are having to compete with it and like kind of crash against it. Like, why would you tell anyone to pick up Tekken with its fucked up netcode instead of Street Fighter? Unless they really love Tekken. But then you wouldn't even be talking to them, right? They'd just be like, I love Tekken. I'm going to play Tekken.
Tekken also is handling their version of modern controls in a different way now. Like, we're getting to see the different philosophies at play. It's really interesting. The Tekken way of doing this is it's your normal button layout, but you hold one of the triggers and then it becomes a combo button, right? And kind of like you saw in the story mode for Tekken 7, it'll give you access to some pre-baked combos that you can do or pre-baked abilities. And like the moment you hold it, it pops up the little menu on the screen next to your character. So anyone can do it at any time by holding down that button, but it's just a little visible thing that says, hey, I'm using this now. And that's it. You know? So yeah, it's one way to do it, I guess. And I don't know if like the menu popping up is meant to be like a thing of shame or not, but it very clearly does. Like, I've had some funny matches where I'm fighting somebody and I'm doing well, and then like I have like 2 rounds up and then they have 1 round up and then they're dying, and then as they're right before dying, the shortcut pop-up starts coming up, and it's like a bit of a desperation, like, oh fuck, oh geez, you know, like relying on that in those moments. Oh, okay, well now we're all right.
What are you talking about?
Apologies to the MP3 listener. Pat is currently journeying through time and space, not unlike Lavos at the end
What are you
of
talking
Chrono
about?
Trigger. We've now wound up in a public bathroom.
We're just talking about fighting games.
Yeah. So anyway, other stuff. We played some of Rashid and had Rami over. Got to play some good matches with there. Learn a bit of that character. He's scary. He's fast.
I would like to ask you a question about Rashid because I'm very interested. I don't like. I was like, yay, Rashid, and I talked about it, and then like I started playing Rashid, and like I have to hit way too many buttons to play this character. I really strongly dislike hitting a lot of buttons playing a fighting game, man. But I saw people complaining because they were saying that like Rashid has all this zany shit you can do, and all these crazy things, and like almost none of it does more damage than like really basic bread and butter shit.
Rashid's damage for a bunch of things is lower than usual, and that's the way that he's able to like be beaten, is that he's got to touch you a couple more times. You know, the fact that he can teleport in and jump in and slide in and glide in and go past fireballs, and he has 15 different vectors of attack to get in your face and approach from the sky or below, means that you cannot stop him from getting in. He will. But the amount of damage he does to you is a bit lower than you'd expect compared to some other characters. For example, you know, a Kenny Ken, or much more Marissa. Obviously, you're not going to do those numbers. But he can leave you in a situation where he mixes you up again. You know, he'll do the spinning mixer, leave you standing, and then try to go for another thing to open you up again, to reset you. So you press a lot of buttons and do a lot of stuff, and then you try to get another combo started right off the bat, and you try to go for resets, you know? He's very good at that.
Yeah, I played a couple Rashids, and that was my experience where I'm like, I don't know what's happening, and he's not doing that much damage, but I constantly don't know what's happening. Like, you know, I'll play against a character I'm not familiar with, and I have like a basic idea of the angles that they want to exist in. When I'm playing against Rashid, I'm like, I don't know. He's everywhere.
Yeah. So Kimberly, anyone who's fought a stronger Kimberly has gotten used to seeing the corner game where she throws you on the ground, puts down a paint grenade, and then you have to wake up and decide, am I going to try to block it, or am I going to get thrown onto the grenade explosion, which she can then grab you from and do a whole big mix again, and then you're like, oh god, I'm back on the grenade, what do I do? He's doing that kind of thing to you, but you're not on the ground. You're just, your back's against the wall, and he's spinning, right?
Yeah.
He's doing the ultimate Kabedon, where he's got his hand up on the wall, and you are pinned, and you are not going anywhere, and you're not sure what angle of approach he's coming from, and you've got to hold up for your life, or maybe just rush out of there, do something. And if you guess wrong, you get spun, mixed, and put back on the wall. So, anyway, he's definitely good enough that he's going to be a problem at EVO. He's got all the tools you need to be a strong character. He's got a strong reversal, good safe jump setups, all these great things. So he's going to absolutely show up online and create some disruption next weekend. Turbulence, if you would. So yeah, you can check that out. We did some matches with Rami, who's our local strong Rashid player. And those will be going up soon. We also... Yeah, I hit I guess, I'm now at the beginning of FF16 proper.
Okay, so now you kind of understand what I meant last week. I'm like, you get to this point and you're like, the game starts now.
Here. Mm-hmm. A character that I called Nia shows up. And I'm like, oh, hey, Nia. Right. You couldn't show up until other people had to leave, huh? Right, okay. Later, Kamina. Well, it is what it is.
I can't. Who are you talking about exactly?
Oh, just as soon as we get to the new hideout,
the new area.
Yeah, and you meet a plot breakdown girl or whatever.
Vivian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was like, yeah. So, I saved up enough to get my first combat deletion ability, and I was like, okay, I can see here that this button will make the combat stop. So
it's really weird because in any random battle you hit that and the random battle is just over.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at that and I'm like, why do you for the course of random battles, I don't understand why there are buttons that just delete the entire encounter.
Thing. Yeah.
Either because random battles and story battles are worlds apart in fucking they aren't even road bumps.
So to not have the
bumps.
same conversation again, though, I'll just say something that I like about how the story is being told here is my video game expectations are such that when I play a game that shows me a Mega Man boss battle screen and you just pick them and you go collect, you sort of expect it to be like, well, this is what the video game wants me to do and this is how we're going to do it. Travis Touchdown did the same thing. And here it's like, oh no, it might take a minute before that happens. Overall, we know what we're trying to do, but that's... some time passes.
There's some steps in the way.
There's some steps in the way of you getting up to fucking Quickman, after Crashman. You got to handle your business, and life is getting in the way, and it gets a little complicated. Yeah, and then, so that was that. And
then you're like, really? I'm going to go fight Chill Penguin first? Before Quickman? But I played the demo... And in the demo, Quickman was first. Weird.
I don't know, and I'm also hanging out with Magma Dragoons, so I don't know what.
Yeah.
But anyway, at the very least, I'll say that, and some twists and turns and things where I'm like, okay, where's the story gonna go now? What are we doing plot wise? I look forward to the mystery.
There's that moment where you're like, this is very Game of Thrones, low fantasy inspired. And then Tom Final Fantasy walks into the fucking screen.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I know that guy! I know that guy!
But to be fair, that was right after a brothel with brothel noises happening in the background was used as a setting. which
Yeah.
would never happen in any other circumstance except for the one where
Yeah.
people are like, damn, yo, Game of Thrones is really popular. You know? Like,
Hey, so this
so,
is something I remember talking to. I think I talked to Susie about this and Gene. I think where I hopped into your stream and got trapped in emote mode. By the way, please VIP me in your stream so I can yell things. Um,
don't be a dick.
but
You'll be treated the
I
same.
don't. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Just give me the tag. Um, but I hopped in when you were fighting your first fully realized Ifrit boss fight. And you got the breakdown of like this is how Ifrit works,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm like, hey Bayonetta, wouldn't it be great if your big person was like the same moveset but better? Doesn't
Yeah.
that solve that
Yeah.
stupid fucking spider problem?
Yes, it was very, very nice to get that. And to be fair, Madama Butterfly does get that later
Yeah.
on.
So that one works really well. All of the other ones really didn't.
Definitely. And you got a hint of it with the early Ifrit, battle, but then like we start to see it now flesh out completely to be like, no, this ain't just a kaiju system; it's a full-on combat system with all your shit.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm also a big fan of just I noticed that you pointed out like Ifrit's so big in universe, and now we're gonna have him fight him something that makes him smaller than Clive is on his screen.
Mm-hmm.
But then you do the stagger attack, and the stagger attack is now reading like fucking 600,000 damage because Ifrit
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
orders
The
of
scale.
magnitude
Mm-hmm.
bigger. It's great.
Not dissimilar to at the end of Beautiful Joe, where you're doing Beautiful Joe combat inside of Six Machine, but like
Right.
on a global scale. That was really cool, and I also really like that I'm getting multiple facets of Soken through this game. So I've clearly heard enough of the orchestral bombastic bangers to know that he's got a specialty and he's crushing it in
Male voices, evil problem.
Royal female voices.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then that's super cool. But then we go into fucking Cyber Futuretron and start hearing about the and I'm like, oh, there's that little Genova twist to it. There's that little future tech sound. The stuff associated with like the Fallen and things. I'm like, I like that we're getting a mix here. So
Yeah, different musical styles are being associated with regions, with origins, with type.
the background color changes and then the music changes accordingly.
Yeah.
To deal with problems that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. But anyway, so yeah, that's fucking popping off. Anyway, so I think I'll have to talk with Reggie after this podcast and decide how this week is going to go. I wanted to take it, like I said, some time, but if they're going to be off, it might be a good time to I'll do something so that you guys have something to watch. Maybe. I'll let you know.
Well, because we're the only two people any of the people listening to this podcast
Exactly.
watch.
And
So
if
we
let
don't
you
put out
down,
something, they're going to be really bored.
Just irate forever. Just horrible.
Oh, no, that's not true. They watched my wife also, but she is the most indisposed she will ever be in her entire life.
Okay. Well,
She's very busy right now.
Yeah. Well, in any case, I'll let you know. In the meantime, go check out over on the side channel. We got Willy vs. the Algorithm. Some great clips coming, including the Crabtree take on the end of Mass Effect 3. An entire galaxy gets the pass. I have not laughed harder at any other clip that has been put out on that channel. It's the best. Really strong edit coming there. So go check that one out, as well as the impromptu toy unboxing, where we got to just look at some old toys. It was fun. Some more.
Hey, you know what? Sorry, after you. Sorry, I just had a attacking thought in my mind.
Yeah, some more Slopstream stuff coming soon. What were you gonna say?
You know what I just realized?
Mm.
I have a baby now, but I knew that before. What I realize now is that I can look back on something that I remember talking about and complaining, and the only response to that was, well, you'd feel different if you had a baby. And no, Fallout 4's fucking intro is fucking stupid, and it sucks. It sucks. You can't ask players to care about a baby that doesn't talk and you don't hang out with.
How
It
long?
still sucks.
How long was this one in the chamber? When did that happen?
I don't know. I just thought about it. It just hit me.
Nice. Nice. Was this the reason for the baby to exist?
No. No.
Damn.
Like you can't make people care about an in-game baby when there's nothing that happens with the baby.
God. Holds baby, smiles at it, hands it back over, walks out of delivery room, immediately grabs Twitter. Fuck. Yeah, all right. Okay, there you go. You got here. You did it. If you would like as well, I played a little cameo in the JoJo Iceberg series over with Salty DK Dan, who's been working on a bunch of trivia for weird JoJo things, and yeah, reached out and I did a little bit for that. Good old JoJo info. Any excuse to talk about that franchise, I will take. So go check that video out as well.
Do it. It's probably a pretty good video.
And at Evo, gonna do a meetup probably on Saturday night. Not sure where. I don't know if I want to do the Fremont arcade. It's too far to get to. If I can do somewhere nearer to the strip, that'd be better. But stay tuned to the Twitter. I'll announce where and when we're gonna go about that. But yeah, last time around it was great, and Reggie's rolling through, and Susie kind of came by as well, and we just had a good time hanging out with you guys and playing some games. So we'll try to figure something out if you're going to be at Evo to meet up and chill. By that point, we should all be thoroughly out of the tournament anyways, right? There's not a single chance anyone will be still competing by Saturday night.
There's a chance.
Let's all
There's
wallow
a
together.
chance.
Mm-hmm. My Marissa's gotten pretty nice, but I don't think it's nice enough. We'll see.
I saw a really fantastic breakdown of somebody like going, "How the fuck is Marissa does like not lose any matchup she has?" And then posted a clip that was like, because she is always one hit away from doing this, and it was just if she hits her back hard punch, you're just gonna die.
The deleter.
You're just going to die.
Or the standing heavy kick. Yep. She's got two
It's
moves.
really weird because it's like a character that's like a Street Fighter character, but then if you get like one heavy in, she turns into a Marvel character for just a little bit.
So it's a little bit like Nago Ryuki as well, right? Where he's like struggling, he can't double jump like the others can, and he's doing stuff, and he's like, I got a DP, and I got a thing, but it's gonna kind of kill me if I do it. But like, if I explode on you, and I kill you hard, and I kill myself in the process, you're just, as long as you die first, we're all good, you know? Yeah, she has the ability to just take a round back and delete it in exchange for having poor defensive capabilities. So you got to be a god, and then you'll be good. Anyways, we'll be doing a meetup there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So for the schedule, stay tuned to my Twitter, and I'll let you know. Let's take a quick word from our sponsors.
Your Twitter?
My ex.
Yeah, your ex.
My ex. Reposts, not rezeets, unfortunately.
Did you see that shit with the X on the building?
the roaster's chicken?
Yeah, it's a Seinfeld episode! It's a Seinfeld episode!
What's happening in there?
This fucking... I don't know if people saw, if anybody else know what I'm talking about, but on top of the former Twitter building, a fucking 10-foot, or I don't know, 30-foot tall seizure machine X started blinking, and it's the most horrible thing in the world. And it's directly across from an apartment building that people live in.
apparently step one was trying to replace the logo downstairs, and they weren't given the license to do so by the city. So step two was to just put a blaring light on top of the building, and every 10 seconds it flickers on and off and pulses, and the apartments right across the street are just getting blasted by it nonstop.
So did you see what the follow-ups to that were?
No.
So there were two follow-ups. One was that it turns out that they had no permits at all, and they were denying city inspectors access to the building.
Sick.
Like they were physically stopping city inspectors on 2 different days from entering the building. And then like people who had like drones in the area saw that it wasn't even installed. It was just being held in place by sandbags. And once that happened, this is unknown, but people who work in municipal governments have come forward and been like, so the next step is that a city inspector tells them if they're not allowed to see it, that the building will be condemned and forcibly evacuated by police. And so they had to eventually let them up, at which point the sign was condemned and it is now removed. It was removed earlier today.
What a microcosm of a tale for the entire renaming, rebranding saga.
Oh, yeah.
What a small version that tells you everything you need to know about the larger version. Amazing. Amazing. All right. Well, anyways, never mind that brand. Here's another one. Here's a better one. Stitch Fix. The podcast is sponsored by Stitch Fix.
I love you, Stitch Fix.
Yeah. Stitch Fix is important. Listen, fashion is hard. And now that you have become dad mode, you need dad attire. And the process of transforming into dad attire is a lengthy one.
It required several trips. My wife had to pick out my new shoes. She had to pick out my socks. It was a whole thing. It took a while.
You can't look cool anymore. You have to look responsible. But there's ways
That's a joke, right?
There's ways to make responsible look cool.
I didn't look cool before.
The point is this, is that Stitch Fix can will hire real stylists who are going to work with you to create a wardrobe tailored for your style. You gotta, once you fill out the quiz, and they'll figure out from there what your style is best described as and what's perfect for you. The experts can figure out based on, the selections they have of over 1,000 brands that you know and love, what's going to work head to toe. And you can be a stylish dad. You don't just have to be barely holding on, right? It's important. Trust the experts. And then, hey, what they generally do is they send you a number of clothes that, again, fits for you. What you like, you keep. What you don't, you send back. And it's nice and easy. Trust the experts. Get yourself looking sharper than ever. Try Stitch Fix today at stitchfix.com/superbeast, and you'll get 25% off when you keep everything in your fix. That's stitchfix.com/superbeast for 25% off today. One more time, stitchfix.com/superbeast. Thank you, Stitch Fix.
Thanks, Stitch Fix.
That's it for today. Okay. So, some stuff happened. None of it particularly nothing particularly exciting in by contrast. So we can just hit up a couple of points here. Fun new feature found in Street Fighter 6. If anyone remembers the old unlock code in Street Fighter 2 World Warrior, down R up L YB on the Capcom logo, you would unlock the mirror match extra colors for the characters. Well, now in Street Fighter 6, the same thing was found, where if you turn commentary on and then on the faces matchup screen you do down R up L YB XA, the equivalent of on a PlayStation controller or on your stick or such, you get the same Capcom noise, and then all commentary is replaced with the neighing and braying of barnyard animals. Awesome.
Like actually.
Actually.
Like he's not making some kind of sarcastic quip about annoying voices. Like it's actual barnyard animals.
Instead of Tasty Steve going, wow, I wonder how they're going to open up this match, it's meow, arf, 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 purr. And you listen to, I guess, what might have been placeholder actual animals doing commentary.
Right? Had to have been.
I bet you it was, yes. They want to make sure the feature works, so every time you do a sick reversal and it lands, a cat is gonna meow. But if you get thrown, a dog is gonna bark. And they just probably QA'd it until they eventually recorded people to make sure that those things were right. But
I'm just thinking about like getting like punished countered, and you hear a donkey fucking
oh,
like just oh man,
yeah. And like at the end of the match, after you win, like they all go, the whole barn goes crazy, the whole jungle pops off. You hear a tiger roaring. It's great. It's great. Ed and any commentary. Yeah, there you go. So that's fun. I miss the days of these types of little codes. Do a little button prompt, and it's a reason to turn on commentary mode, which a lot of people probably, I don't even know how this was found because no one's really using it. So fun stuff. Alongside fun stuff, if you are going to happen to be at EVO this weekend, then sign up and maybe come see me in fucking Mega Man Battle Network 6, as there's going to be a Battle Network 6 tournament. No, I'm not entering. That's crazy. I got washed. I got washed into the ocean, and I'm still drying my clothes off. But nonetheless, if you feel you're kind of nice, bring out your deck and get ready, because they're running a big side tournament for it. Incredible.
That's great.
Yeah. A lot of fun for that, and seems like it's garnering enough hype. So you might win some money. You might fucking, show us what you got. There was a number of credible rumors now coming in to support an initial one saying that, yep, Nintendo is going to basically release the Switch 2 in late next year.
I can't believe it.
So their timeline is second half of 2024. And different sources are describing the feature list to expect. And the main one is LCD, no OLED. And better storage. So, hopefully with that, higher fidelity games, cartridge slots, and, other things are up in the air. I don't know what I feel like there's a 0% chance that an Ethernet slot will get slapped on that thing, but it would be cool if they ever did. I'm not expecting much. Nintendo is happy in its niche. They're going to play the role that they're going to play from now till the end of time, and that's fine. But if you put an Ethernet cable in, at the very least, you open up for some games that you want to be ported to you to be able to be played better. So
no.
Okay, don't do it. Never mind.
It won't be as an Ethernet port requires a certain thickness that they will not ship.
Yeah, I'm not even concerned about like 60 getting solid 60. It's like, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Fine, move on. But just
also, we really don't need Ethernet anymore now that we have that good Wi-Fi 6.
Oh, the good Wi-Fi 6 that everybody's gonna have certainly by that point. Yeah. Anyway, that's not much there. There was a China Joy had some announcements where they showed off a couple of the games coming out soon. 22 minutes of Lost Soul Aside, which was that pretty hype-looking character action thing we saw from years ago that was like a one-man project and eventually shaped up into this bigger thing. Still looking pretty. But I have to say that FF16 kind of took some thunder out of the combat there, because I'm like, oh, I'm doing a lot of that right now, and it feels great in FF16. So, I hope this does some stuff that is fairly unique. Weird to say, but I just that was the feeling I got from it. And then they also announced that the Phantom Blade Zero demo is coming. So that was the one with the dude with the rice hat, ancient China, jumping off of the horse's cart and just killing everybody.
I'm glad to get a demo for that because it looks really great, but something about it, like, it looks different enough that I'm like, it might feel weird.
It might be aggressively set PC. So you have to find out how much of what you saw is set PC versus free open combat. Yeah, good call on that. So there's that. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, September 1st. I think they're going to lock that date in.
Yes.
Locking it in. The Return of Funk is September 1st. Mark your calendars. Yeah, not a ton really. There was if you're paying attention, if you give a fuck, Geras is back in Mortal Kombat. So
who?
The big black guy that was the Keeper of Time in the last MK game.
Darius?
Geras.
Cyrax?
He melted into sand a lot, and he teleported around using sand, and he would rewind time using sand. It was a cool effect, I have to say. Like the whole, like there's two of me, the after image thing, the visuals of like freezing time and attacking you and stuff. Like I liked his fighting style a lot. So Time Guy's coming, and
Cetrion.
There you go, something like that. Yeah. No,
I know who Geras is.
Geras is one of the. He's one of the cool ones of the new cast.
He's one of the better ones.
He's one of the cool ones for sure. And now we can start the sussy speculation as to, oh no, what if Fire God Liu Kang is the evil?
I'm sorry, I just had like the most awful visceral reaction to you saying the sussy speculation.
Yeah.
Like, I want to fucking barf. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's fine.
I blame Dean Norris for this. That is Dean Norris's fault.
What did Dean Norris do?
So Dean Norris had a cameo or a fiver or whatever.
Yeah.
And he did the fucking sussy baka thing, and ever since then, I
Walt, you're looking like a sussy baka.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Right. Okay. For PSA for anybody who gives a fuck, but if you are someone of taste who enjoys animation like Cybersix from back in the day, Cybersix is coming to Blu Ray. Go check that out. That show was the shit. It was one of the Teletoon late night shows that was like, why does this look the way it does? It's because it's like an Argentinian comic that was adapted into a half Japanese, half Canadian animation. It was wild, but it was awesome. So yeah, finally we get that ported. Scaled up nicely on Blu-ray with the crispest the frames can possibly be from the way they were originally animated. So eyes on that. And then I guess there's a whole bunch of fucking Project L news. I don't know if you saw any of this.
I saw a little. I saw the fact that they have a really awesomely cool 2v2 system where you can have 4 players.
Yes. So
I think that's awesome.
This has been an idea that's not the first time we've seen it, but this is the first time they're fully committing. Everything we talk about where we're like, yeah, fighting games, you can't blame anybody for your losses and you can't get carried to your wins. Fuck that. That's out the window because Project L is going to have duos where you and someone else physically will be playing 2-on-2 against 2 other people. You don't have to. You can still do one person controlling 2 characters, but there's a lot of fun you can have with that. Street Fighter Cross Tekken did it, and they did it poorly. Mortal Kombat implemented it, and it was not that well done either. This feels to be like the first time that it's being considered for the main mode from the ground up and not as a bonus extra thought. So it's wild to see that the way the canons are going about this and you know, the Rising Thunder folks are like, okay, so everyone was concerned that if we make a game like Rising Thunder, we're going to give you 2 easy buttons you can press to do your specials, and that'll mean creativity is kind of lost, and it'll just be a baby game, and da-da-da-da-da. All right, fine.
And they were right.
And they took it personally, and they went, you can do anything you want to do in this game. All options are locked behind 1 or 2 buttons. You will never have to press more than 1 button or 2 buttons to do anything. The most basic, friendly, beginner shit you've ever seen for a fighting game layout. That being said, Clockwork is now sitting there after doing what he did with Power Rangers, looking at this shit going, how can I make it disgusting? How can I make it so that there's 2 problems here. There's how easy it should be to do what you want to do, and the game says as easy as fuck. And then, how do I block this mix-up? And the answer is lol lamau. Right? There's so much shit happening at such an aggressive speed, and the 2v2 nature of this game is like, the cross-ups are dirtier than ever. The tech is fucking vile. Like, there's the game is built around you constantly needing to be aware of where your partner is and where their partner is, and you're paying attention to the 4 characters on screen because it's going back and forth aggressively. And like one of the wildest things that they have, so because you're playing in duos, right? If your partner is carrying the assist character and they jump in and, you know, take over control because it's handshake tagging. So like Marvel Infinite, right, you can go back and forth. The person who has to burst you out of a combo is your partner, not you. So
oh my God,
your partner has to jump in and save you from a burst, like with a burst. You don't get to control that, you know? There's also like a comeback mechanic, which is not like, you get an extra super level or something like that. It is when you have 1 character left and you're near death, you have like less than 50% left remaining, you get a super assist that is way better than before, but you could only call it out once every like 10 seconds or so. So it's way more cooldown. But it keeps the second person engaged. So if you're 4 people, there's always shit for you to do. You're never just checking out completely.
I have to say that like this really feels like they instituted like, here's some ideas about the way League of Legends works, and we would like to put some of that flavor into our fighting game in its own way, right? And that's like a cool idea. But this shit sounds like the most fucking toxic, anger-inducing shit I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Which is like, is that not on brand?
I can see you like grabbing your friend by the shirt and just shaking them as well. Why didn't you burst me?
Literally.
Why did you not burst me?
Literally, right? There's an exact feature that I saw that like opened up, like it. I had a fucking new type moment where they're like, okay, there's gonna be a ton of defensive and offensive abilities, right? You've got parries, you've got charge attacks, you've got push block, advancing guard. You've also got retreating guard, which is I push myself away from you after I do a block, and a bunch of other stuff, universal reversals and things like that. There are grooves for the characters, and you can pick, you know, like we always say, like, you know, CVS groove and things like that. Here you choose one that's simply at a certain point you get extra damage and extra defense, so just a big buff. Or you can choose double assist, which means you can call out an assist and then immediately call it out again to do 2 things instead of 1.
Okay.
And the implications there are you can do all kinds of cool setups and stuff. You can do 2 supers, so you know in Marvel or Dragon Ball when you go from 1 super into a second one, the DHC, delayed hyper combo, you'd be like Shinku Hadouken, Kaken, right? Like that back-to-back thing. You get to do that in this game. You can choose between those or freestyle mode, which is you get to do 2 tags back-to-back. And what that means is I tag in my partner who jumps up at you and does some kind of special crazy move, and then I tag back to where I was on the other side of the screen and use that coverage to do some shit. And that is like, that's the moment that I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be the most insane, hard to block situation game ever. Everyone is getting blown up by everything because you have to just see, the moment it flashes, you have to know instantly where to switch your block to. There's literally a thing you can do where you call in an assist, and they can jump in and do 1 or 2 assist attacks, or you can hold the button down and then they'll jump in and start running forward, and then you can run with them, and then when you release it, they do their assist attack, right? You can delay it and do like mounted offenses. In Marvel, you would call in Doctor Doom, he would do hidden missiles, shoot them into the sky, and then you would jump in to do some stuff while the missiles came down. Now, you can call in your assist, hold the button down, you do hidden missiles yourself, and then the assist goes in to do shit. And then when the missiles are coming down, now it's back to you doing whatever you want.
Wooly, I'm like overwhelmed with all the options you're throwing down at me. Like, I know what you're talking about, but it's still like a lot. Like, you are describing a lot of shit. And a lot of people aren't going to be able to deal with this.
No.
Like, a lot. And I'm just thinking
like BB
about,
tag.
Like, you know, I brought up people screaming at each other because of their burst, right? But there's more about the integration of the awfulness of League of Legends into this format. Like, fighting games don't let you feed. That's not a thing. But in this one, it will be. I'm salty at my partner for dropping a combo. Tag me in, and I'll just stand there and die. Oh, I don't like the character I got paired up with? I'll just drop right now and leave them by themselves.
Unforeseen, toxic fucking consequences coming out of this pairing. Yes. And what everyone seems to have indicated is this is truly the Riot Games experience.
Like more than anything, the one that makes me like my brain light up with a million buttons is I wanted that item, I wanted that kill. Like, you're playing a fighting game in which you have a shared super meter, and Darius, oh no, not shared, they're separate.
No shared super meter. You both get your own.
Because if the other guy used your super, and it went bad, and then tagged you in and you didn't have super, rage quitting would be out of control.
Burst or feed. Now.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh.
And you know, like, no one can pretend that they were not given all of the easy access tools to press anything to get what you want right away with no confusion whatsoever. All the tactics that you want are available at the press of a button. But now...
Do both characters have to die?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not one character down.
Because if it was one character down, you'd run into the thing of like, this guy just won't tag me in. Like, he just won't. He just won't tag me in.
No, it is in fact a game where you both have to die, and the launcher button, because it's basically light, medium, heavy, assist 1, light, medium, heavy, special 1, special 2, and then like assist. And the assist button is also your tag button, is also your launcher. So as soon as you hit that to launch the character, it doesn't auto tag, right?
Okay.
So tags are going to be a constant thing. Yeah.
What happens when somebody drops? Do you gain control of both characters, or does one character become empty?
The person on point will handshake to you, and I hope you're ready for it. You know? If you fucked up, you fucked up. And if we got happy birthday'd, then we're both eating it.
It's like
yelling at each other.
Cause stabbings. Like, this is the most toxic shit ever.
A long, disgusting happy birthday while we have the time to just viscerally go in on each other with what little information you have based on the sound of their voice and the name of their tag. Yeah. This is the Riot experience, man. No, it's a completely different thing. This is not at all the Street Fighter 6 experience. They're doing something else completely. And you know what? God bless it. Here come the duos. Here comes the 2-on-2.
You know what I hope?
Free to play? Come on.
You know what I really hope? Like, desperately? Desperately. I hope that after the end of the game, you get like a scoreboard of like, did the most damage, blocked the most hits, you know, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And just like League of Legends, underneath the character's name is report. And you could just be like, this dumb fucking bitch dropped every combo. Report. Report. Yeah, I'm gonna get all my friends to report you for dropping combos.
And put the drop down so that it has a bunch of options that don't actually matter. But if you're reporting because combos were dropped, it'll get registered for that reason, even though the reason doesn't do anything on the back end. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
sure.
Wooly, do you know, like, you joke? Do you know what, like, you know what the actual trick to this is?
Mm-hmm.
When somebody plays badly, but genuinely, you report them for feeding.
God.
Because you're like, I know they're good enough and they're better than this. They were feeding on purpose, and that's hard to tell.
Is that a listed option in the
Yeah,
reports?
feeding is totally a listed option for griefing harassment.
Wow. Okay. I'm reporting my partner for not teching throws.
Yes, it's gonna happen.
Damn, I'm so happy that this game is representing something so different from 6 right now, and it's a whole other level of fun. And yeah, I think people are gonna have a blast with it. And I also think that, like, the main thing, because Reggie had a very concerned look at one moment. He was like, "But how are they gonna hold your hand? Because these games now have to do something to make you not afraid of them."
It's free. They don't have to hold your shit.
They never did. And Riot never has. And this, like, sure, the idea of, like, let's pair up the tutorial system where we have a mentor and a mentee or whatever. However well that'll work, God knows. But it's always just been this, where it's like, you use the things that you have access to, and the shit you don't understand, well, then don't use it. You know, like, that'll kind of be it. It's gonna be a bit wild because, like, at low level matches, when you're playing with 4 people that are all relatively similar in skill, a lot of that crazy dirty shit is not going to be happening anyway. So it'll just be fun, you know, it'll just be normal and straightforward. But the moment one person knows how to fucking block, unblock, set up, fuzzy, rejump, it's just like nonsense, you know. Yeah, everyone's going to get mad. But you all the things you want to do are one button away. So it's on you for not blocking the right way and not pressing it fast enough.
Funny.
You know?
That's everything about this is the funniest thing in the fucking world.
No one can say, "Oh, I dropped it." It's no. You didn't press it, but it's right there. You just had to press it right there. Yeah, Project L is looking like it's going to be a lot of fun. So there's going to be more.
I gotta say, also, like, I understand the League thing that everything had a project name. Having a fighting game one called Project L is getting funnier and funnier and funnier.
Project Take That L.
Yeah,
Project
for real.
Hold
like,
It.
it's hilarious.
So yeah, we're at Evo. They're going to announce a couple more things, and we'll get some hands-on with it, and I'll report back. But I respect it, man. Also, like, the shit, like, with Echo and his, like, mix-ups where he stops time and switches back to it Bedman style and everything. It's like the idea is just like, yeah, if we give everyone, you know, everything, then to make it interesting to people who are really good at seeing things quickly, we have to make it very, very tricky and mixy and schmixy even. Can't wait. All right. Yeah, not much else to it. So with that, I'm ready to roll into some letters.
Hey, there is a bit of news that I should go into. Nothing too crazy, but Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail got announced.
Okay.
Yesterday. It's a new expansion. It's more levels, and it is the most MMO unhinged shit in the world. That they announced new levels and new gear and new classes and this and that, and people who play the game went, "Who gives a fuck about any of that shit?" There's 2 die channels on gear now. There's 2. Historically, there's only been 1 die channel on any piece of gear, but now there's going to be 2.
So that means you can dye 2 separate colors to 2 different highlights on things?
Yeah, so usually what would happen is you get a piece of gear. Let's imagine it's like a fucking suit of armor with like white robes on top of it. And then you get the gear and you're like, oh fuck, I hope it's the robes that die. Nope, it's the metal.
Oh, okay, I see. Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
And like that's been an ongoing thing for every single piece of gear in the entire game. And now they're like, no, you will be able to dye both color channels.
That's huge. That's huge. You can really make things unique now. Yeah.
It actually is a big difference. There's a bunch of other shit they announced for it. Whatever. Okay. It's the beach episode.
Yeah.
It's like the chill beach episode after the drama that was the Endwalker.
Okay. Are we done? Are we done walking? Or we're now ready to just lounge for a bit?
Well, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and then you know, Armored Core showed off some shit, and it looks awesome. And I'm in that
looks cool,
and I'm in that point where I'm like, ooh, okay, I want to stop looking. I want to actively stop looking. I'm like, I'm seeing a bunch of shit, and I'm like, yeah, surprise me. Looks great.
So before I completely leave FF14, with the next patch, they're gonna add Stormblood to the free trial. So that's now the base game and 2 expansions is going to be completely free. Which means you will now no longer say, are you talking about the Final Fantasy 14 with the free trial up to level 60 that includes the critically acclaimed Heavensward expansion? It will now be, you mean Final Fantasy 14, the game that features up to level 70 with the critically acclaimed Stormblood expansion?
Yeah.
But on top of that, Stormblood was when they started putting out those fucked up super raids for freaks. So that means that those things are now going to be available to free players. And it's also coming out on the Xbox, which means that UCOB is now free on your Xbox. It came with it. A joke that is much funnier if you've played the game, I promise.
Okay. I made a reference to hitting what looked like a raid boss in Terminal Dogma in FF16, and I was like, I should probably be here with like, or no, I was thinking like there should have been a line where they're like, oh, we tried and failed with 40 other men, and someone corrected, they're like, actually that should be 50 now, and I'm like, when the fuck did so 40-man raids is not a thing anymore.
No, it's not.
Okay.
That stopped. The hardest part of a World of Warcraft raid is fucking organizing 39 other people. Too hard. It's stupid. Dumb.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in any case, there's all of that. Let's take some letters. If you got one, you can send it into castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
Hit us with your best baby peed on you stories. Guess what? They're all the same. The baby peed on me.
Luna Nova says, I've been playing through Pillars of Eternity recently, running face first into the CRPG trope where if a character has a portrait, it means they're going to be a party member or a main villain. So far, every character except one who's had a portrait has been a party member, and I remember Wrath of the Righteous did the same thing. I think God of War Ragnarok also had a button with partner action in place of the son action that was present in the first game. What were some other instances of games giving spoilers by way of interface, either subtly or very obviously? I mean, the
fucking JRPGs where you get items that none of the party can equip.
Right, yep. You pick up something that ammo that no one else can use. Obviously, there's squad selection screens where there's way too much space to the left or to the right. Which is
Yeah.
why games, if they're putting in a little more effort, should pull an Elden Ring and have the map be as big as the place you are at, and then pull back as you need to, but tighten up the crop so that the lack of space and negative space gives away your future secrets. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um.
I'd say like, although unless you're going for that feeling of like, I'm pulling back, and I'm seeing black all over the map as there's a fog of war, and I want you to know that you're currently in 5% of a humongous world map or whatever, you know.
Yeah. You know what? FF16 is a really good one because you get fucking Garuda first, and it goes to the upper right of the skill screen, and you now look at it, and it's like, oh, this is a clock. This is all this empty space on the skill screen is for the other guys.
Yeah. That's stuff that I would mark as a C-class bug if I were going through it. Just to,
Really?
yeah, it'd just be a suggestion bug. Like, hey, you kind of give away that something ahead of the time when the thing happens, and that surprise is wasted in this moment, you know, for sure.
Like, if you look at it for a bit, you can even see how many upgrades you're going to get.
There's places where I was told not to pull up the lore screen, right? They're like, in this cutscene, do not press the lore button. I was like, oh, shit, okay, fair enough. I wasn't planning to, but just knowing that that's even there, you're like, yeah, you got to be careful with that, right? All right, let's take one from Hatefish, who says, hello, Screamlord Chewy and Screamlord Fuckface.
Hold that thought. We got breaking news in the chat from one Atraxa. Hey, Wooly, somebody just now was hosting a Street Fighter 6 tournament on Twitch and forgot to turn off their nude mods.
I saw, and that's great. That's good. You know, the meta has been, if you don't follow, there's channels on YouTube that farm matches by basically just playing high-level players against each other in their replays. They play the replays of tournament players, and they go, hey, watch Daigo versus Tokido or whatever. But they also put on their custom PC mods so that it's going to be Juri in her bikini, versus Cammy with the ass out and barely cutting through the TOS. But you're going to click on that thumbnail because we're still playing this like it was the Machinima days, And
right.
that's been the meta for getting those views for a while now. And Twitch is a little more aggressive about that shit. So good job, idiot. Oh God, you want to hope?
That's so funny.
Like is the nude modding the beginning of what the rabbit hole holds for us?
Maybe this isn't because I'm a teenage boy anymore and that I'm now a real man with a son and a wife and a dog and a cat. But when I was like, oh, there's costume mods available for Street Fighter, and I went to the Street Fighter Nexus, and I click top files, I'm like, stop, can I filter out the fucking jerk off horny shit so I can get to the stuff I actually want, please? It's legitimately really frustrating.
Well,
I'm looking for Zangief in a fucking office outfit with a shirt and a tie, and I found that. I'm not going there so I can make Chun-Li naked.
I mean, we have been here the entire time. Overwatch got to that point where it's like, oh, hey, look, it's this fucking ubiquitous, omnipresent porn circle to that game. Fighting games and the thirst, as we've known, have been hand in hand forever. The question is again, can you? I don't think you can avoid the Chun-Li nude mod, but what you want to be concerned about is, can you avoid the Chun-Li inflated ass mod? Can you?
Yeah.
Can you avoid the Juri triple size feet mod?
Here, you know what the absolute tragedy is? There's a mod for Juri that I'm genuinely considering installing that changes her appearance. Have you seen it?
Jordans?
Juri Jordans. Where you put fucking shoes on her model.
Yo, the J's are so nice. They're sick. Absolutely.
But to get to that mod, I have to put in the word Juri into a search bar.
Damn. They're so clean though. They're so fucking clean. You pop that in, and just watch your local friend group carefully and see who winces. See who looks at it. See who like goes
Like for real though, put those grippers away. I don't want to see them.
And now she's just showing off the shoe,
Yeah, man, look at these Jordans. No creases.
That's it.
Fighting all day. No creases, no dirt.
Hype beast jury. No problem. All right.
Ah! Ah! I said put those away, and I see in the chat, yeah, away in my mouth. Stop it.
Oh,
Stop it.
The first appearance of Jury's feet in World Tour mode, I described as marinated in British gutter juice, because she's walking on the fucking wet ass British stone with that. So you know what you're in for. Snoof. All right. So, anyways,
It's my son in this world. Put your feet away. Stop it.
baby is as pure as baby's gonna be, and in fact, I hope that your parents have tuned out by now. That's what I'm really hoping, that they're not hanging around.
Oh, I forgot Mom and Dad were here.
I hope that they're not hanging around for the jury foot talk. That's the part where yeah. Let's assume so.
I don't. My parents don't get it. They're gonna call me and just be like, "What do you talk? What is that?"
All right. I've been thinking, with the upcoming release of Baldur's Gate 3, I've been thinking a lot about min-maxing character builds and how optimization can impact play experience. As Baldur's Gate 3 is based on D&D, it's inherently more bounded to its accuracy, meaning that the peaks are much closer to the thoughts and in terms of power. Despite this, unless the devs have gone in hard rebalancing things, there'll still be a big difference between the Tiefling Blade Pact Warlock 3 Paladin 9 build and a pure human fighter, unless variant human exists in the game, but that's an entirely different kettle of fish. As such, my question is this: have you ever had an experience with a game damaged or ruined by over-optimizing your build, and have you ever built a character in such a way that the flavor enhances your game experience?
I think both Pathfinder games have this problem in spades because the mechanics are so intense that they kind of expect you to make a decent build to some degree. I think that Baldur's Gate 3 tries its best to get around this. They did change how some classes work. Like Monk and Ranger are like significantly changed from their tabletop incarnation because it's a video game and it doesn't work the same. I think one of the most interesting ways you can get around this problem is like take dialogue checks, right? So imagine you're talking to somebody, and Pillars did this, and I think Wrath did this, and I'm pretty sure Baldur's Gate 3 does this. And you go, okay, you can choose this dialogue option because you have a charisma of 16, right? Or you can attempt this role because you have a high charisma, right? That doesn't necessarily actually make it the best option. It just makes it an option you can try.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So maybe if you just asked this guy for his shield, he'll just give it to you. But if you try and smooth talk your way, if you try and schmooze your way, he'll think you're gross and not give it to you on principle, even if you pass the check.
We've had a couple of different variations of this conversation, and it always boils down to the same thing. Like, as someone who doesn't need to min-max my way through a game, I would just want to know that I am not being presented the difference between content and no content, but I'm presented the difference between a fun failure route versus a fun success route.
And in terms of mechanical, like combat or whatever, like turning the ceiling down is not important. Raising the floor up is important. Like if you can have hyper viable freaks in your game, yeah, sure, whatever, who cares? Good for you. But having unviable losers is a huge problem.
Yeah. And just make sure that, like, any of these things that, you know, if I don't have the stats for them, but I can try them anyway and fail, let me fail spectacularly in a way that makes my experience just, you know, like, I didn't feel like, oh, you get a character or you don't get a character, end of story. You know, like, make it
Yeah.
so that if you succeed at it, you still want to see what the failure might look like because it's fun.
So Baldur's Gate 3 currently in its early access build has variations on this where um I'm going to invent examples, but basically where if you pass the really hard check, you somebody just hands something to you, right? And you're like, "Thanks." And that's it. If you fail it, you will then have to go on a little quest to get them the things they want or do a task for them to get it. And so in this case, success steals content from you because you just said, "Hey, give me that," and they went, "Yeah, okay." There's at least one thing that you can only do a quest for if you fail the perception check and don't avoid the problem you're walking into.
I feel like I've played tabletop campaigns at least 2 or 3 where we've walked into, like, you go to the inn, you get the mission, you go to, like, the manor of the rich lord, or you go to some building, and then on the wall is an object of power that you need for something important. And it's like, I'll never give that to you unless you do this thing, or don't even think about it, or whatever. But you see it, you know where it is, and the entire rest of the DM's adventure is based on you guys leaving and having to figure out how to get this thing. And if the guy were to just be like,
I roll a speech check, natural 20, give me the item.
here you go. Like, okay, nice, you know, like DM goes behind the wall, rolls. All right, you get the sword. You kill the bad guy, you save the world. The end. You know? Yeah. All right. And last one coming in from X, who says, "Hey, Wolves Bunny and Paffy Duck.
What's up?"
Last week, you're talking about Perfect Blue, and you mentioned that it was basically a live-action film that happened to be animated, and I imagine that was a compliment. It reminded me of a common talking point about American animation pundits, historians, about how they tend to criticize anime like that. An example was Ray Harryhausen was shitting on Satoshi Kon's Tokyo Godfathers because it lacked what made animation special. And also that the characters were ugly, and the people back then also said that Spirited Away should have been live action. Still, in general, besides xenophobia and racism, and the most good faith reason that they dislike anime seems to be that they have a different philosophy about animation than Japan. To simplify, the difference seems to be that anime focuses more on things looking the best they can, while anime focuses on things looking the best they can, while animation should focus on showcasing how the character would act. So they tend to regard anime as characters that are boring or just doing standard animation. Acting would be better in live action than a character like, say, Daffy Duck or Bugs Bunny that has a highly specific animation acting. The difference is how you approach the medium is why the pundits just tend to focus on one of the subsets of the medium. Okay, I get the gist of what you're trying to get at here. Yeah. So, do you know of any other big philosophical schools of how a generation medium should be done? No, but ultimately, the point is that this is a stupid take, and if you
I like pretty pictures on my screen.
there are a number of people that, like, if you look at the way that Studio Ghibli and let's say George Kamitami and Vanillaware obsess over the details of how food looks. And yes, you can just get someone to actually cook these meals and make them look appealing, but the artists behind it have a love for recreating that thing and detailing it. There's something to that is worth it. There's a value to that. If you look at something and decide that this medium's only value should be in using what it can do and if you never decide to use it for what it's primarily for, that you're wasting your time. I disagree with that. I think some stories can be told and adapted in a bunch of different ways, but like if someone's obsession and detail and lovingly crafted usage of a medium is the work they put into something looking realistic, for example, I'll bring up Vagabond and how its nature scenes look gorgeous. Those could be photographs if you wanted them to be, right? But it's dismissive as fuck to just kind of say that someone's craft is a failure because this movie should have just been a bunch of actors instead of making ugly animated characters. The point of the artist's intent was to make them look that way, and there's a loving detail to how, you know, and the characters he's talking about in particular are like they're very pained and they've been through shit. Like there's a whole thing to that you're overlooking because of those biases. Like, fuck that take.
Yeah, that's stupid. That's big dumb idiot. What a brain dead fucking. I don't agree with any mentality that goes, this type of art should do this, other than be good.
Yep.
Right? I think that's moronic.
So the closest parallel to this that we've had in the past is when I've said things where I'm like, whenever I see games that attempt to be movies, I always champion the aspects where I'm like, but do the things that the video game can do best, right? That is true. I think ultimately though, like the best versions of this will do some of both, and they will use these moments like for maximum effect. You'll be watching something that is cinematic, and then you'll retain control in a moment of, you know, where the heightened emotions are at their best, where the heightened emotions are best handed back to you to handle the situation now, right? You know, if you look at a situation that's really uncomfortable, and then the characters are dealing with it, and then you are now the one that has to decide to keep calling or crawl down that hallway or do whatever it is you do, you maximize what the medium is great at. But you can't then preach to say your entry is completely invalid and should not do this. I think David Cage games have way more problems with them besides the part where they keep trying to be movies. You know?
Yeah.
So that's my preemptive, like, aha, but what about you saying the same thing about video games, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that satisfies our needs.
Right before we go, I actually want to bring up, this is the most tangential thing in the world, but we were talking about content being removed because of success earlier. And I just wanted an excuse to bring up my favorite quest in Dragon's Dogma. There's a long-standing... there's a quest in which a guy asks you to get Salamet's grimoire. You're like, dude, I need you to get this grimoire. It'll help me become a great mage, right? And you can either scour the goddamn game for it or get somebody's pawn that knows exactly where it is. And they'll just tell you, right? So, okay, you go and get it. And now you get it. You go to give it back to the guy, and you can just give it back to him and the quest is successful. Or you can go to the Black Cat and copy it and make a forgery item. And give him an exact forgery that doesn't actually do anything. And you get to keep the item, and when you use the item, it casts a really super high level spell, like a bunch of meteors. You're like, that's cool. I got to keep the item, and there's no downside, except later in the game, that guy shows up last second to help you fight a griffin in a boss fight, and if he goes to use the forgery, it doesn't work, and he starts to go, why doesn't it work? And he doesn't help you in the boss fight.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. That's
my favorite quest
great.
in that game. It's such a good goddamn thing.
Hell yeah. Nicely done. Okay. Well, your quest right now is to go to the mini-map that's been updated and get within that dot that's permanently on the mini-map.
I gotta get my wife some food and the opportunity to sleep. So I am out of here. I will see you people on August 3rd, which is Thursday? Thursday for Baldur's Gate. And aside from that, just get out of my face.
Big
Enjoy your week.
family. Go family.
Family.
Family. Family.
Family. That's my favorite one.